All right, everybody. Welcome to the Tilt Champions League. It is a semi-final barn burner tonight between the Snake Oil Salesmen and the opponents, the second-seeded team in Tasty Crab Legs. I am Sirerin, joined by my good friend and championship partner here in Rioklu, and we are hoping for another banger series, aren't we, tonight? Your mic is muted still.
Oh,
From when we were in, there you go.
there we go.
Welcome to the stream.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm pretty excited. I think, both are really good teams. I think SOS has surprised us in many different ways. My team did beat them last week, but, hey, they took some games off OTL, so I'm interested to see what they can do.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting kind of lopsided strengths of these teams. Obviously, with Snake Oil Salesman, top side I think is going to be a really big threat for them. Lyle can obviously carry on many different champions. I think his champ pool is actually very strong into what Hippo plays. At the same time, though, Abarn's team has a very, very strong bot lane. There is a lot of strength that Talon has, and he's been able to have. You never know what you can give IREP. He can pull out anything and everything, and that always adds a kind of really unique intricacy to some of these drafts. And of course, you always got, the standard Intrigue just kind of moving around. But Sandy, I think, is always consistent. You've got, I think, a also growing bot lane here in the Snake Oil Salesman. They've been playing better and better over the course of time. And I think it's going to be really, really fun to see how this game develops. I think a really big thing when we finally head into our best of threes, or sorry, best of fives, it really comes down to how do you adapt between games, between all of the, picks of the series, right? Even in the best of five we just played, there are some very, very pivotal champions that then turn to other champions. So it's all about how you adapt, as well as can the teams just keep their momentum? Does the frustration set in? How do they really just approach all of these games? But as we get into draft, we're about to see the first champion taken off the board here, and that will end up being Nefiri. Very interesting ban. I don't think Abarn would ever pull that out. Actually, it's taken away from Sandy's team. Maybe there's been some secret things happening over the course of time, but I think that's a really interesting first ban.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't know who on Sandy team plays that champion, but hey, maybe they saw something, in some scrims or whatever.
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, I would never ban Nefiri against them. I think that's just a free win if someone picks it, but is what it is. Lilia taken away. I think just a strong, solid jungler there taken away from Teague. And of course, gotta respect Lyle's Kale, as well as the Talon Twitch.
Yeah, no, honestly, if Lyle gets Kale, it's pretty much GG. I don't think he's ever lost a game where he was Kale. I know when I played against it with my team, it was really, really rough. We just couldn't, do anything, so it's a pretty good ban. Not surprised by the Twitch ban either. That's, I believe, Talon's favorite AD carry. So...
Yeah, I think taking away hyper carries is a big thing, right? Lyle, I think, will be a really pivotal player to where if you give him a hyper carry and you can get to level 16, he can win the game from you, and that's definitely an experience that I had against him. And I think Twitch also is one of those champions where if you scale up, just carry a game. But we see the Illusion ban, as well as the Ashe ban coming through, so we're targeting the bot lane. Now, blue side has been selected by the Tasty Crab Legs, and so the question becomes, what do they prio? What do they really want to take away? Is it going to be a jungler? No. They do not care. We'll see if Teague eventually gets the boar, but they actually want the Braum here.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. IREP has been playing a lot of Braum this past season, but to be fair, Braum is a pretty good champion against this entire league. He prevents a lot of, all-in. Okay, and we have the Sivir pickup, it looks like, so... Oh, no, never mind. Jungler instead.
They were thinking about it. Obviously, Sejuani is just a solid jungler, solid tanky jungler. It's even seeing a lot of, I think, presence now in Pro. And of course, one of Teague's most commonly played champions, so not only is it strong, it's a good takeaway. I would 100% agree with you, though. I think Braum is a really strong champion against TCL teams. It just nullifies a lot what you want to do. So the question now becomes, how does Sandy's team adapt in trying to find an alternative? And that could be an interesting alternative if you're in the Zillion.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Is this for Sandy, or is this going to go to their support? That's what I want to know. But I guess that's why it's kind of a flex pick, maybe.
And speaking of where things are going, I will be very, very curious to see where this Nunu is rolling down, because it's been a very long time since I think I've even heard of a Nunu in the TCL. We've maybe seen some funny things here and there. Obviously, I think we saw Sandy pull out maybe the Nunu mid. I think, was that against your team, or
No, that
and it almost worked.
that was my team that
Team
pulled it out.
And it worked. It worked very, very well.
Oh yes, it did. But I don't see Avarn playing that though. He's very much like a traditionalist mid laner. So...
Yeah, no, Abarn's not pulling that out. He doesn't have the hands for it anymore. I do think that's going in Teague's hands. I think it's just super interesting. You don't really see Nunu as a champion, so that means we're ganking. Jinx paired with the Braum, I think it's just a solid carry for Talon, so it just enables maybe the Nunu to get some of that scaling going early. And looks like we're targeting more of that mid laner in Abarn, one of his most played there in the Aurelia, now taken down, and of course, and we saw the third round away.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, now that we see Sandy pick, with the Hui pick, that's probably going to Sandy. So Zilean support makes sense. That with the Aurelia ban, you definitely want to get rid of that all in. So.
And it also is just going to be very, very frustrating now for the side of Tasty Crab Legs with the revive coming from Zilean. So the hope is now we need a hyper carry from Lyle. If you're going to get a Zilean on the board, especially with the way with all the control mage capabilities of him, we better see something strong on the top side. We've already gotten the Camille taken away there by Tasty Crab Legs. I think that's smart. Darius taken away now from Hippo, which I also think makes sense. That might maybe counter what Lyle wants to pull out. But I'll be very curious to see how they round this out. So they still need an A carry, and they still need that carry from Lyle.
Yeah, I mean, if I recall, Boogly, he has only played like Zeri, Ashe, really like safe AD carries, so I'm interested what else he has to offer on the table. But I think they're probably... I wonder what they're going to pick for Lyle. Like, that's what I'm curious about, because I feel like they really need Lyle to do well in his lane.
And this is, I think, a game in which the draft is kind of built around him doing something bruisery, something that can just go in and cause chaos. And now with all the bans coming through, Mordekaiser is the last one. I think it does make sense. That doesn't have so many crazy counters now. Tristana will be taken. That will be the AD carry. I think just a solid one. I mean, Zilean Tristana is a little interesting. But now it's time for Tasty Crab Legs to round out their draft with a top laner and mid laner.
I know for sure. It's... Oh, Corki.
Corki's very strong right now. It's not a bad pick at all.
Yeah. No, it's just interesting. I don't see Abarn play... I mean, I have seen him played a couple of times, but I don't know. I think he's just better on mages, personally.
He's definitely played much more mages, right? And Corki, definitely very, very strong in the meta. Gwen, blind Gwen, that fortunately has a lot of counters taken away already, so Hippo won't be initially, I think, super abused. I think this does open the table, though, for Lyle to have whatever he wants. And maybe, Abarn's been practicing, been preparing some secret picks. I think Corki could maybe change hands over the course of the series. I wouldn't be surprised, but as the timer now hits 0, Lyle will be playing Olaf.
How does that matchup go? Like, I don't know that I feel like not the best, right?
So, fortunately for Olaf, especially into Gwen favors when she can use her W, right? And she can maybe get out of range. With Olaf on top of you, that is actually good for him, right? Because he can just get some heals off. Now, I don't actually know how, who does the more damage. I don't love the Olaf, actually. I think of all the champions, their composition kind of somewhat does go in. I mean, you have the Shoshana jump in, Sejuani kind of going in there. I don't know if, is Olaf with an enchanter Zilean somewhat in that realm? I don't love it. I think it's interesting. I think I like the draft much more of Tasty Crab Legs in this first game. What are your thoughts, though?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm on a similar route. I just... The top lane pick feels weird to me. I thought he would maybe pick Jax or something like that, but hey, who knows? I mean, perhaps he'll be cooking with this.
Yeah, I mean, definitely melee, right? I mean, Sejuani with melee is always strong, so having an Olaf, I think Jax would have been a really good other pick. I would have loved to see the Jax. I think Jax Gwen is a pretty standard, somewhat, obviously Jax scaling up, but I mean, looking at just the strength of the front line, you've got Nunu running down, Braum can just jump in, whether it's catch a Sejuani ult, try and just maybe catch a Tristana rocket or the ult. I just think it's much more easier to execute, especially then with, Hippo can just have a standard game, doesn't have to win. You can just rip through the team, because they're very, very squishy. Outside of Sejuani, then maybe Olaf with just a drain tank. There's just not, I think, much standard. And Abar's teams, I think, historically has always gone that team fight, that kind of just front to back, as
You and I
one
would
of
know.
his old team names. Yep. So I do think it would be harder for the side of Snake Hill Salesmen to execute, but I think there's some good things. And actually, what I didn't realize is Tristana was locked mid. Hue will be bot lane.
Oh, yeah, wait. That's true. Wow. Okay.
That's actually really different now, because it would be an AP mage, which I don't think I've ever seen Boobly play anything but Ashe in just my experience.
Same here. That's why I literally was just like, oh, okay, Tristana lock. And then you pointed that out, I was like, wait a minute. That's very, very different.
So I think this does favor Tristana somewhat, because Tristana is just going to be a little bit stronger than Corki, since Corki needs some time. But I have no idea about Hue to carry, or Hue AP carry. So I don't know if that's actually better based on what they're giving up. I think this is really now on Sandy to give some of that carry potential. I don't know how confident Boobly is. I think that's going to be actually so interesting to see what's going to happen. But I think that just gives me one more reason to be a little hesitant about this SOS draft.
Right. Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I think maybe bot lane, double mage. Usually you pick that to either, completely destroy the AD carry or to just really heavily neutralize the lane. So maybe that's what they're going for. Just farming up, and having Sandy be, like, that carry for them. That could be, what they're doing here. Or Lyle, So, I mean, what are you going to do when an Olaf just, like, runs through all the CC and with a zillion ult on him? That's rough.
Yeah. I think there is going to be a really interesting first start, right? I mean, Sejuani is just a strong jungler to do everything. Nunu needs those ganks, needs a still ball. So really, I think it's going to be fun to see who kind of starts that snow, like starts the staling, starts the opportunity for that first gank. And whoever gets first blood, I think there'll just be maybe a little bit of a momentum bringer type thing.
Right, yeah, no, for sure. So it looks like we're heading into game. I'm excited. Personally.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I think it's just going to be a fun series. That's what we're looking for, right? Only thing we could ever ask for is just that. So here early, we'll most likely not see any kind of early invades. I mean, if we do, it'll be from the side of Tasty Crab Legs. You don't really need a Zillion going for that. There's not so much CC compared to what the Braum and Nunu can do. But yeah, looks like we're just doing a standard 5 points. There's a nothing, I think, too crazy summoner-wise. We've got double Ghost. Topside makes a little bit of sense. We do have an Exhaust and a double Barrier on our 80 carries. So just a, respect to your start off our series.
Look at the little team fist bump. I love that. It's one of my favorite things Riot added.
Don't see so many of our don't see that too many times, I don't think, in some of these TCL games, but it is always fun to see you flash the masteries, to see people flash their emotes. So we do like a little bit of banter that comes from that, for sure.
Okay, looks like they're gonna... Arb's gonna help Leash. Tal's gonna go straight to the lane. I see this a lot nowadays, actually, where they'll have, like, the carry or the bot lane just go straight to lane instead of, like, really helping Leash.
Yeah, there's, I think, a lot more junglers now that are much more self-sufficient with not needing ganks, and it just allows the AD carries to maybe get some slight early advantage if they want to fight for level 2, get some early poke. But both junglers will be starting bot side, potentially maybe looking for a pathway top side. Would make a little bit of sense, since obviously Rick trying to get this Olaf ahead is pretty pivotal. And when you're playing against a Zillion Hue bot lane, not the easiest thing to gank, because they're all going to be playing a little bit farther back anyway.
Right, looks like we had an initial trade up here.
And a very good trade there for Olaf. I mean, gets the level 2 advantage, takes Hippogriff hat down to half HP. He will pop the health potion. So, good early start there for the Olaf.
For sure, for sure. Yeah. Tristana just pushing in Corki as expected.
Yep, we do just see a little bit of poking here back and forth from the bot side. Just some damage traded. Good W there from Talon. As, yeah, I mean, nothing too crazy. We do see Nunu here now on the Raptors. Sejuani moving her way to the Chickens. So, potentially could be something topside once the waves reset, but we'll have to find out.
Lyle going for some early vision. That's good. Well, even if he didn't have the ward, I think just seeing where the ward was placed kind of gives them an idea of where Tej is.
Yeah, when you're that pushed in, there's not much you can do, really. You don't want to, like, force too hard under tower, so making that to use your time effectively protects for a gank, especially knowing Sejuani is coming with some, you know, just W to protect Hippogriff a little bit. Now that he's 3, he'll be able to get a little bit more safety with all of his abilities, but actually didn't realize that Hippogriff went Grasp. Not the most common thing you see on a Gwen, but looks like the Nunu is snowballing into lane. We're seeing some opportunity for something, but nothing too much yet.
Yeah, it was good attempt. Good attempt for sure. Oh, something mid. Just a little poke. Just a little drive-by poke from A-Barn. And Tej is like just rolling down this Summer's Rift. Literally top to bot.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want to be doing on Nunu. The more you can move around, the more you can try to impact the map is what you hopefully can allow. But we do see a little bit of a potential scuffle around that Scuttle, but that will be going over to Teague. So just pretty slow early game. I mean, I think both teams are trying to feel each other out, not trying to go for anything too risky. It's only game 1, so slight advantage, I think, gold-wise, just on the side of Tasty Crab Legs, just because they're slightly CSing a little better, which is actually a little surprising, but...
Why is it surprising?
Well, you simply Olaf, right, to be ahead somewhat. I think Corki, you know, needs a little bit of time to get up there, and bot lane, I would say, is a little more expected just because of how those lanes work, but just a little interesting now as big damage coming through onto IREP. Didn't really get, I think, as much as they would have wanted against their opponents, but IREP is just going in, back and forth and back and forth. I mean, they really just trying to get this poke down. Not really sure if they want to keep going for this fight, since summoners outside of the heal were used on Greg, but mana is low on Jinx, so might not be the best fight now. As we see a little bit of a Vision invade there, topside, as Vision Cone is popped. Damage traded back with Lyle actually getting 6 topside, so we don't have much going on besides just, you know, advantages now maybe starting to be built. Level 6 and some big ults coming through, so this would be a probably pivotal time with potentially the gank potential of Nunu with ults for a big thing. We might see a Sejuani gank. A lot of potential.
Yeah, just looks like they're just backing up in the bot lane right here. It's nothing too crazy. Wow, I thought this would be a more bloodthirsty early game, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think of all games, it might make sense to be slower. I think game 1 makes sense, right? It's just the kind of, we want to make sure we don't get off to a bad start. You know, I think momentum is a really, really big thing for a lot of teams. So just making sure you get a strong start, especially, you know, there's a lot of champions that scale in this game. So they don't need to start hard. I mean, you've got Jinx, Corki on one side. I mean, even the Gwen will do a ton of damage later on. And, you know, Lyle wants to get an early advantage for sure. But you've got the Hwei there with Tristana, who can, you know, probably prefer a little bit of a snowball. So I think the longer the game goes on, though, this definitely favors the Tasty Crab Legs.
For sure. Oh, looks like there's some... Oh. They were spotted out taking the grubs, but too little too late.
Yeah. Little the early bird gets the worm there, so with the obviously prio top side, very easy for the Sejuani to jump in there to get the grubs. As Dragon is on the map, junglers will be going bot side, so it could be a maybe first fight of the game here happening at the Dragon, but we will see. As trades do go back and forth on the bot side, you know, there is finally the level 6 there on the Hwei, actually somehow has a level advantage comparatively. But we do have the Sejuani, I think, starting the dragon right now. We do see the TP back mid lane from A-Barn. We do have the Nunu coming down. Just misses the snowball. Boobly will throw the ult there onto Teague. Is able to run himself out as now we have the rotation down. Boobly, though, gets the Zillion ult. Will come back alive. Does have flash and barrier, so should be able to live, right? Barrier comes out. Sejuani is now here with Sandy jumping in. First blood is imminent. Sandy doing as much damage as he can, knocking Irep back into the team. He's still alive, though. A-Barn's out, join the fight. First blood goes there to the mid laner as now A-Barn does get a trade back onto the jungler, fortunately, which now means this could be a dragon for the tasty crab legs.
Wow. Honestly, really good rotations from the side of TCL. SOS really tried there, but I think TCL just rotated faster.
And we're seeing what some of the frustration comes with that Zillion. You know, the revive is huge. Boobly only had to burn his barrier. He did not have to use flash, so both of the bot laners will still have it as the fight is still going on. We do have a great double bomb there onto Talon. I'm old Greg should just be able to get out flash from Talon. Really trying to get this guy down. There is still a flash there onto I'm old Greg though, so maybe with the rotation down from A-Barn and from Teak here, maybe they'd be looking back, but doesn't look like they were able to get too much. But that is a flash burned. That is good to be able to get out of I'm old Greg. They will need a reset. Sejuani is kind of hovering just in case of a potential dive. But yeah, I mean, I think very, very fortunate that A-Barn at least got that trade back. You know, it was very good for Sandy to get the first blood. But, I mean, still very, very even here, if not just a, you know, couple hundred gold for the side of TCL.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my, I just feel like it's been like fight after fight after fight. It's crazy, but you know, this is what you expect, right, from the semifinals. Like a lot of good rotations, people helping out their teammates, and you know, just some good coordinated team play.
Yeah, and speaking of coordinated play, actually Hippogriff with the huge solo kill topside.
Oh.
There was just a very, very strong fight. Lyle unfortunately missed his axe and some of the autos. Hippogriff landed all of his ult, but now actually Rick will be here mid lane. Great ult there, landed onto A-Barn. Microsoft and Rick unfortunately takes that kill instead of Sandy, but really, really great gank. No flash on the Corki, so great way to take advantage of that.
Ooh, yeah, no, for sure. It looks like, ooh, we have a TP back top, just shoving that in. Yeah, is that what you expected in the top side trade?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. Obviously, we didn't see it on stream, but while that fight happened, Lyle was the initiator, so he had the bit of the health advantage. I think he just actually got outplayed a little bit with good dodges there from Hippogriff. Obviously, landed every ult charge, so I don't think he was expecting the damage. But Gwen can do a lot of damage if she lands all of her abilities, so I would have been maybe more favored of Lyle, but now the gold is in favor of Hippo. He's up by about almost 20 CS now. And that's a really, really, I think, good kind of recovery here with kind of traded blows back and forth.
You know, for sure. It seems Hippo is about 600 gold up, Lyle, so, slowly making a difference. Ooh, looks like a gank bot.
Potentially, yeah. We do have the Nunu coming in. We do have the double bomb landing on the Nunu, but double snowball lands. Irip will get the ult down, but the Zillion ult is active on his own. We do have the Hui ult coming out as the Void Grubs go down at the same time. Greg will unfortunately be going down, and there's nothing that the Snake Oil Salesman can do. Unfortunately, just stacked up together meant both summoners and death. But topside, I mean, Hippo's looking to fight. Lyle, ult comes out. He's being slowed. Now we have the ghost coming through. Lyle might be going down, but Sejuani is here. Hippogriff has full HP, though, so this could be a trade back fight. Lyle is very, very low. Hippo is low as well, but the axe comes out. Hippo, unfortunately, in the 2v1, cannot take it away. That was very, very close and almost a really, really good 2v1. But great job there from TCL Salesman. Lyle would be able to get himself back kind of even, maybe take the lead. But in response, from Daymat Plate's top side, blue side will be taking that dragon instead.
I know for sure. Wow. That's, good response from Rick, I would say. While something was happening in bot, he was like, okay, I'm going to go top, I'm going to help out Lyle and get at least like a kill out of that.
Yeah. And, gold is now in favor of the TCL Salesman. I think that plate gold was really, really big for Lyle. Gets them down to 3 plates. And finish item on both top laners. So those would be the first items we're coming through, but Dragon definitely is a nice little start. We still have a very, very long time till Soul will ever come into play because that's a very late Dragon taken. But objectives pretty even on both sides, especially with the grubs taken there early from Rick. So.
Oh, for sure. Wow, this is a pretty close game so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a. I think both teams are happy with how the game has gone so far. You know, nothing too big has been taken away. You know, Lyle obviously got that early kill, or sorry, early death, but, you know, good kill traded back. Hippo probably still is feeling good up in CS, but Gold probably still even from those plates taken. And obviously, Sandy doing just well, Rick doing great here in the jungle, so I don't think both teams are too unhappy with how things have been going.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Wow. I'm still a Tish for Nunu. I don't know, I usually see him on, like...
We have now the power of the Olaf finally coming through us. Oh, Hippo! Hippo with a huge E! Dodges all, spacing so clean! That is now going to be a huge lead for Hippo. That is, I think, what's the power of the Gwen in response. But immediately, we have a fight bot side as we do see the cleanse coming out. We do have the ultimate immediately for the turn. Boobly does get the reset, so he does still have nothing actually. So it was a bit of an attempt to try to turn that around. Unfortunately, not good enough, as Greg will just be running for his life. Maybe should have just tried to run instead of trying to fight, but dive potential here, as looks like Arab just trying to get some damage down. Does take one tower shot, as the wave, I think, will be resetting. Can't really get too much done, but Abarn is on his way for the roam. Could be looking for a dive. Zillion does have flash, and Heal wouldn't be the greatest dive. Might be changing their mind as they'll just look to push the wave, get some plates. But good, again, good kills to response happening every time.
Yeah, no, for sure. Wow, it looked so close for Lyle for a second there, but then, I don't know, that Gwen healing is, like, obnoxious.
Yeah, Gwen gets that true damage from her Q, lands a couple of her R knives, and the fight just totally different. You know, Lyle really needs to get all those autos. If Gwen just does one E, lands a Q, especially if she gets her passive 4-stack, I mean, that's a really, really big fight in response. But Sejuani is hovering on the mid lane. We do see a bit of, you know, potential gank opportunity, but Abron will see it. Does have the ward there, which will be taken away. So, you know, right here, I mean, even though the way kind of went down with the Zillion, you know, they're not in a terrible spot. First items are finished. They do have, you know, just a tiny... Oh, it's really, honestly, even there in CS, but I think there's just been some good rotations here from the junglers. I mean, Nunu's been looking. Nunu's looking again now on Sandy. Does actually not hit there with a really great rocket jump in the mid lane. So, pretty solid dodge. Does, you know, just take some big damage back, so maybe not super worth, but Nunu can easily heal up there in the jungle, so... I mean, one thing to say, though, Rick is up in CS, you know, does have a bit of a level advantage, and there's a lot of damage now coming in to this bot lane tower. They might just be able to get it fully if they really wanted to. Greg is still hitting it. We do have the ultimate now coming out, so they're not probably soon to follow. They do get the tower. Boobly is doing what he can with the damage. Nunu is slowly on her way, but I'm old Greg going down. Hippo now trying to fight. Sandy Snake is here, just going to be to his death. I mean, does actually a lot of damage. Flash over the wall from Rick. Not sure if that was really needed. As a dive coming through, will be able to take down Boobly on that way. So, I mean, both teams just very, very aware. When one takes a fight, they immediately look to pressure the other side. Is Abarn. No mana, does have flash, so Sandy will just be getting some damage down. Takes him down a little bit, doesn't look to. Dive, probably doesn't need to, even though he had flash. So, now, as the dust settles, 7-4 in kills, 2k gold lead for the TCL Salesmen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like it was worth them dying both bot lane to get that first tier turret, but, you know, I commend their commitment.
Yeah, I think if Boobly committed to damaging the tower more and just forgot about the Braum, they maybe could have gotten it earlier, and they could have lived, but at the very least, only one should have died. So Boobly should have ran. You know, he doesn't really have the damage yet to be able to do anything, so them trying to fight the Jinx Braum, probably not the smartest. But there is posturing around this bottom dragon. We do have the Nunu coming in through for maybe a look for a gank, but Greg and Sandy are nowhere near any kind of risk. We do have TP on both top laners, so they can easily join this dragon fight. And both teams looking like they really want to do fight over it.
Yeah, I mean, it's Infernal Drake. I too would like to fight over Infernal Drake, but I love
Here's only
damage, right?
second Drake. Yeah, I mean, especially on the start of Secular Salesman, they could definitely use that on the Hui, especially for any kinds of just poke that Sandy can do, as does try to get just some little bit of damage there onto A-Barn, but is there a second Drake? So this isn't a super pivotal Drake just yet. There's only a slight advantage here for the Secular Salesman, so they're trying to get that mid lane turret down. Just 1 HP will be going down, so that does open up the map, which is very, very nice, as now they start to rotate down for this dragon.
Yeah, I was gonna say that someone just has to sneeze on that turret and it's dead.
Yeah, and now looking to start this Infernal Dragon, as we do have the Nunu coming through with the Snowball. Might not be looking to hard commit, as we do have a TP there from Lyle. Sandy just immediately jumps in, as we do have Hui jumped on. We'll have the Zillion ult immediately on him. Does come for the revive, but Lyle is in the backside trying to take down Talon. Talon lives. Fortunately, Sandy Snake is in the middle of that fight with now Hippo joining in. Does big damage to Boobly, doing even more damage there. Knocked back by Sandy. Rick doing his best to keep his team alive, going down for it, and Sandy and Greg can do nothing but run away, as Greg, great double bomb to get them out, dragon taken, and that is a great team fight win from TCL.
Yeah, we were talking about that front-to-back comp, and how SOS would have to deal with that. It's so hard to play into it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think, honestly, it just wasn't super coordinated from the side of Snake Oil Salesman. You saw Lyle TP in, immediately bum rush the Jinx. Well, the Jinx had safety. A-Barn was there attacking them. I think IREP or Teague might have been there to help. So that was a 3v1. And this Olaf is not far enough ahead to be able to do enough damage. And then, because Hippo came late, it actually favored them, because he immediately blew up. Lyle was able to kill Boobly. And then there was just not enough damage. If, honestly, they played it a little bit better back to front, or I should say front to back, from the side of Secular Salesman, they might have been able to win. But, while it started off well, and they were able to, I think, get a really good early kill, didn't really lead to anything. But Sandy is still pretty strong. So, their team is still scary. Hui is scaling up. They still have the Zillion ult if they need it. But one thing to say, though, gold's still relatively even.
Yeah, no, for sure. I just feel like there's so many, carry threats on TCL that it's like, who do you target first?
Yeah, I mean, definitely hard to target the Gwen, because Gwen can just go immune. But A-Barn and Talon would be your big two. As the game goes on, A-Barn's just going to get stronger. Obviously, Jinx 5-0-3 is already very strong with a 400 gold bounty, so if they can get onto either one, maybe land a double bomb, land some damage, as big team fight there, great ult on two of them. Microsoft and Rick will be the only one taking it. Now Sandy is here, taking Teague down. IREP will be next to potentially follow, but great Szechuan on the ultimate there into Talon. Unfortunately, no follow-up from a Seiko Salesman means that is just a great pick on Teague.
Yeah, no, for sure. Wow, hey, I mean, you gotta remember, SOS has a lot of CC, between Sejuani, Hui, and Zillion, and like you said, Sandy is so very, very strong.
Two items just needs one little jump in, and that's going to be a really, really big team fight. But top side now, we do have Lyle getting that kind of initial start. Hippogriff still is very, very strong, so might still be able to live out of that. Ooh, does actually some really big damage to Lyle, so he does not want to go in on that. Lyle and Rick will be running away from Hippogriff, so that is a little bit of a damage there onto that from, was that a Jinx Rocket there? It was a Jinx Rocket now, as Greg might be the next one to go, but damage does land. A-Barn does take down Greg, so that's a really, really big rocket from him. Sandy now doing his best to run away. Great W from the Jinx, as Sandy will have to use his ult to run away. Nunu Snowball is coming through, but I don't think they will be able to run them down far enough, as that's a really great, I don't know if you want to call that a feeder there from the Hui, but that's at least get them to safety under the tower. Should be some easy wave clear there from Sandy with Hui, even though that is a 4v2, but not too many objectives for them to take in response, just some great kind of tower damage. Hippo might try to get this top tower in response from Lyle having to run back. And we're seeing a little bit of a lead develop here.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, wow, we were talking about a boring early game, but they're certainly going at it now.
Yeah, a bit of a slow burn, you might say here, as Hippo does get that top tower. We'll be able to back with a 4-2-0 scoreline. Does have his second item, looking like he's going to build the death cap with the rod, pick it up. Potentially, maybe might going for his stopwatch as well, because you just have the gold to buy that. But I mean, Sandy and Rick are still very, very strong. You know, we do have that first item in Warmogs, so Sejuani is just going to be healing as much as possible. Hui has 2 items. We do have, I mean, both teams are very, very strong. You know, if they can get onto that Jinx and blow her up very, very quickly, you know, they have the damage with just one really good Sedge ult. You see, you know, the Olaf running in there, so the opportunity is there. Question is, can they really execute this? Now, Hippogriff going on to Sandy. Sandy immediately jumps away into the safety of his team, so could be a nice little turnaround. There could be the opportunity, as we do have the missed ult. Sejuani does dive in, but the immediate response with the Braum ult adds a lot of damage still coming in. The Hippogriff should be able to get out of there, no problem, as Rick now just getting some pokes from the Talon rockets, as, you know, bit of that skirmish before the third dragon here spawning in 10 seconds, as looking like we're going to get some resets. Could be a TP back there from Lyle. Sandy will be TPing back, as we do have the early pressure, as Hippogriff actually will be in this mid lane doing some damage there onto Lyle. All comes out from Lyle, but he does not have the damage right now. Sandy is in the mid lane, will be able to help out, as that's a great knockback. Lyle, though, trying to do his best to slow him down. Hippogriff turns around for some reason. I don't know why he just didn't get himself out of there. He kind of just gives up his life, but his team does fortunately get the dragon in response. Great double bomb to have the team run away. Snowball coming in. Looks like they're going to turn around. Ooh, good dodge and flash there from Boobly, as Teague trying to get some more done, but that's a really, really great stun. Great kind of ult there from the Zillion, but unfortunately Boobly will be just going down to his death. Sandy's back. Sandy doing a lot of damage. A-Barn takes down 1, but Sandy here is looking to get all of them. Sandy almost going to be killed. Good big flash. W does land. He's so low. This is such a back and forth. Oh, Sandy! Was that the E coming through? I mean, that's just a clean team fight. Wow.
That E detonation will get you. Oh my god, that was scary, because Sandy actually just almost died right there. Like, everyone was like, wait, what are you doing? And then just, like, literally almost, like, incinerated him. That was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Sandy, I think, did flash a lot of the rockets, but right into the Jinx. W, fortunately, did live, so, I mean, that fight was so close. You know, I think that's also, honestly, a good fight from TCL Salesmen. You know, Sandy's just getting more and more and more, and especially as they already lost that dragon. You know, any kind of gold they can get back in their response with them being off of soul points, since it is actually even gold. Both teams have about 42k right now. Sandy is kind of the main guy. You know, Lyle's just so far behind. Hippogriff has the potential 2v1 at any time if he tries to get some help, so it was just a really good kind of support there from Sandy to at least stem the bleeding, because if, you know, Boobly and maybe one more died, this was just a really kind of opportunity for TCL to take control. But right now, I mean, Sandy's the guy. He has the potential to carry. Looks like they might be trying to look for a potential kill here onto Hippogriff, but he can just easily jump over the wall, get himself out, so opportunity was missed.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Abrams just pushing bot with TP up, so someone's gonna go respond to that.
Yeah, I mean, they should definitely just start this Baron, at least force a TP. That's probably the best thing, but Greg, he does have ultimate. He does pop it early, so it's a really, really good timing, but with the Jinx stun right there, just goes down. Free kill from Talon with the great chompers. So this is a potential opportunity for them to start the Baron. You know, A-Barn is still pushing, so at the very least, they can at least pull off this Baron, leave A-Barn there. He's actually going to TP in. They're committing to this, but the red team is around. You know, Irep doing his best to just try to get them off, but Boobly just taking so much damage. A-Barn takes him down. Sandy jumps in, but jumps into his death, as now Rick goes down. That's a huge turnaround. They did not see that coming. And this is now definitely a free Baron.
Yeah, it just looked like, you know, they were trying to catch out Hippo, but then they ended up getting caught out themselves.
Yeah, I mean, they were posturing around the Baron. You know, I think they wanted to try for something. And unfortunately, I don't think Sandy or Rick were ready for the jump in from Irep, from A-Barn. And just the damage now from the team TCL is just going to, I think, truly be starting. You know, we do see objective bounties spawning. You know, it's only about a 5k gold deficit. It's not unsurmountable, but the issue is they're on soul point. They need one more to get Mountain Soul, and that's just going to be so difficult for anyone on the TCL Salesman to get any kills.
Yeah, I definitely don't think they're just respecting SOS, I don't think they're respecting TCL's peak potential enough because like they just get tagged by like Braum and then it's just like lights out.
Yeah, I mean, look at that damage. We have the ultimate coming through, but it might not even matter. There's just nothing he can do to run away. Tries to flash away, but cannot, as now it's Boobly's turn. Boobly will be in the Nunu ult. Does pop the barrier. Doesn't even matter. Double kill there going to A-Bomb. And this could potentially be the end of the game as Lyle tries to get something done topside. Hippogriff does pop his own ghost, but looks like he will not be going any farther under tower as now Talon with the Jinx passive could just be pushing in for this end. This is a 3 versus 5. Hippogriff will be staying topside though, so maybe they're just going to get some damage down on the base. Maybe wait to see if they get some more picks. Looks like that's what they're doing, just wanting to get 2 inhibitors here and then move down to the Mountain Soul.
Yeah, I mean, taking it the safe way, which is definitely, semifinals you don't want to throw it at all, but I mean, looks like they're not getting that inhib. I think they're just going to go prepare for Dragon, it looks like.
Yeah, honestly, I think they could have gone for it. They have the damage, they have all they need to end the game there. But, nothing wrong with playing, some safe League of Legends. Want to ensure the victory, never leave them a chance. But, we'll see if maybe one of these teams has a little more fun as the series goes on. But while there is the early setup here from the Tasty Crab Legs, the red team, they're going to fight. They know that this is going to definitely decide the game. They can win this fight, they're back in it. If they lose this fight, honestly, it's over. You can't really beat that Mountain Soul, and if they get aced, it's definitely over. So right now, they have the control over it. Hippogriff is kind of here. They do find him. They could just jump on him, but Sandy Snake does fortunately get the ult, but knocks him away. I don't know why he actually used that. They could have just killed Hippogriff, and this is a totally different fight, but a little bit of a misplay. We do have the Jinx Chompers as now he is going in. Lyle doing a lot of damage, but just goes to his death. Sandy just jumps into his death too. Jinx is now excited. It's just going to be a one fight. A-Barn does take him down. Talon flushes over the wall. Gets one more triple kill going to him. Boobly running for his life as a TP from Hippogriff to the top side. That is an ace. That is game 1. That is a quadra kill. And what a really solid game from the Tasty Crab Legs.
Yeah, wow. I mean, it's good they tried for that. I feel like if they didn't, it was just gonna, be a worse result, so. But yeah.
And that is the Nexus falling down, and you're right. They had to fight. So definitely respect them and the commitment, but unfortunately, it was just not very well played. You saw them find Hippogriff. They could have jumped on him. There were all 5 there, and it was a really great potential. But Sandy used his ult to save Hippogriff, which, 4v5 fight would have been much better if I were the St. Salesman. And unfortunately, you saw Lyle go in alone, get blown up. You saw Sandy jump in to his death, and then there's no more damage. There's nothing they can do. Boobly actually did more damage than I expected. He didn't really look like he was doing damage to me personally, but he actually did good, better than I would think. And obviously, we did see the Zillion basically was just good enough for an ult bot. You saw signs of life. We saw the potential. It just didn't really come through. It was just really just solid scaling. Talon got the lead, ran away with it. Corki got abused a little bit in the early game with that early gank, but I mean, overall, Hippogriff had a really solid game into what could have been a counter pick. Lyle had the red side counter pick, didn't use it to do anything, and I think that's a really strong start here from the Tasty Crab Legs.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I have to give a lot of props to SOS though. They hit the early and mid game pretty well, and then at a point there's just too much getting caught out, and I think their comp is just too hard to execute. So maybe just a little bit back to the drawing board, and they could pull out maybe a winning game too.
Yeah, and they have side select, so they could definitely choose to go blue side. Maybe they want to save counter pick for Lyle still. Maybe turn to the bans. Who knows? But we are going to go to a break as we get game 2 set up. Don't go anywhere. The Tilt Champions League. It is now game 2 with the Tasty Crab Legs versus St. Salesmen. And I think it was a fairly back and forth game. We saw, I think, a little bit of an early advantage, an early lead from the St. Salesmen, but unfortunately weren't super cohesive in the mid to late game, which allowed Tasty Crab Legs to take game 1. So Heading into game 2, we will see the same signs as the Snake Oil Salesman did select to look at the red side. And what are your feelings about that, Rioklu?
Yeah, I mean, I think they just really value the counter pick, which, for me, it makes sense. Especially because they seem to give Lyle the counter pick. So, yeah. I think just making sure he gets a really strong pick so he can do well in lane and then transfer that over would be really important. Unless they want to give the counter pick to Sandy, but, up to them.
Sandy didn't really need it if that game was a testament to anything. Since Sandy was the one guy doing his best. I mean, he was, 5-0 and something at one point, I think. He had a great goal bounty. I mean, he was really moving around the map well. And I think if Lyle was playing a champion, which he could get a much better lead on, I think it could have been a much different game. Especially if Hippo was pushed back and they had... Because I think, honestly, Boobly did good. He had good damage. I don't know if Zillion is really good for Greg. I don't think he really saw much use outside of just clicking R. Which is, yes, the revive is great, and it does really give, I think, much more... I think strength in team fights. I don't know if they really utilized it well. So I'd rather see them go back to whether, they know what works well. They can easily, play, Ashe if it's up with something else. Maybe I think the Braum was takeaway from Greg. I'm not really sure. Maybe that's why they first picked the Braum. But I think we need to see a little bit of a different support. I think definitely a new top laner. I don't think Lyle is comfortable on the Olaf. And they just kind of do the same thing they did. I think Snake Oil Salesman will be able to take game 2, but we'll have to see how that, might change with the draft.
For sure. I mean, when it all comes down to it, I think it's always about comfort. So, you're never going to perform your best at something you haven't practiced that much. Not to say I don't know how much Olaf he plays, but I don't think that's something I usually have seen from him. So.
Yeah. So I know that, they did take away a lot of top laners throughout the second round of bans. So maybe they don't save the counter pick for Lyle. Maybe they actually pick first round. That gives them maybe a stronger champion. They can take away some more heading into the second round. Since the red side, as much as they might want that counter pick, you give it to Sandy. I mean, Sandy did well. I think Sandy can easily abuse A-Barn, and that can build some really simple leads. But it's just kind of up in the air for how they might decide to change this. Maybe they say, hey, the Gwen's fine. I'm just going to pick a different champion. But now it's kind of in their hands since they need to adapt. That's what it's all about with your best of fives is, I think they had some good things. As long as they can take that away and learn from it and then hopefully apply something new, just gives us more things to be happy about.
Yeah, no, for sure. And here we are going into the Champ Select.
Yeah, and heading into Champ Select, of course, we will have the blue side with their first ban. They really don't have to change too much. I don't think they have to be scared of anything as much as, yes, the Tristana was probably the only big threat on the map. I don't think it's worth a ban, as we already have a pivot. Maybe they're predicting what they want to do in response to their first game draft. That is a Rammus ban.
Yeah, okay, maybe, a Rammus fan always makes me think that Hippogriff is going to play Yasuo or Yode.
I think that's a little bit more of a takeaway from Rick. We've seen Rick play a lot of Rammus. And also, I think they kind of wasted the Fury ban game 1, so this is probably a replacement for that wasted ban. So I think it makes sense all around. And sure, maybe it opens the door for Hippogriff to go Yone or Yasuo, but looks like we're following the same script as game 1. We see the Lilia, we see the Lucian, and we see the Kayle.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think, honestly, that SOS banned badly. It was just more, I think their comp was just, not the best for what they wanted to achieve.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it was just less comp. It was more individual at that point. Sure. We just didn't see too much, and then just a little bit of execution. I think the comp was, fine. I think they just didn't play it well. But actually, we're seeing a bit of a change here. Camille will actually be banned in the first round, so they're expecting the priority going over to Lyle here. So they don't want to see that Camille not really wanting the true damage Q coming out. But we will see, of course, the Twitch coming in. So identical bans here from Snake Oil Salesman. And again, will we see the Braum priority?
Yeah, it worked really well last game. Oh, there it is. Hovered. Yep. And locked in. I mean, hey, why change it if it still works?
Yeah, but the change then allows for the Ashe in response, since they did ban Ashe instead of Camille, so that means Ashe will be going over to the Braum. Now, I think that's fine. I think Braum's fine with that, since the shield will just take away a lot of what Ashe can do. Now, the slows will still be there, so that might change things, but I think this gives a little bit more comfort to the Snake Oil Salesman, gives them a little bit more, I think, confidence, especially now with Amumu. But maybe Teague knows something that we don't, and that Nunu is very, very good right now, because he's locking Nunu again.
I have no idea. I mean, Nunu's just always that kind of champion. Are they running back the exact same comp?
Honestly, they have no reason not to. They won, right? You know, that's what I tell my team is, hey, if we win, that's what I did tell my team is, hey, we won, we don't have to change anything because we won. They have to change something. So I don't disagree with what they're doing. You know, the Jinx look great. It is a very, very strong, you know, AD carry paired with the Braum. So, you know, he did perfect on it. And we do have the Mundo instead, so that means this could be a Mundo jungle with a Mundo support. I mean, I think that's a little weird. I don't think I love the Mundo. You know, as much as I love my good friend Spurg, I think, you know, it was a little bit of a for fun pick there in the jungle. So I don't like that. I mean, yes, there's good CC for him to pick Mundo into, you know, like the Braum or the Nunu. But I think that just kind of, they lose a lot from that. So who knows?
I mean, I feel like the Mumu and Mundo could be flex picks because I have seen Lyle play Mundo. I mean, he played it against my team last time, so it could be possibly to him, it could be towards jungle, and then a Mumu could be jungle or support, so who knows.
And that's a really good point. So if that is a Mundo top, I think that's a different story. Especially, you know, that might give more credence to that Gwen ban, because Gwen's a really, really good pick into Mundo. We do have Sanity targeted here in the second round with the Azir and the A Soul. But we do have, again, that Gwen, like I said, as well as, of course, Aurelia. Again, I don't want to see that. So we'll see. You know, definitely is a flex opportunity. You know, I think that might be a little more confident than Rick going Amumu. But you never know. You know, we've seen Boobly and Greg pull out some weird things, and that's definitely not what I expected in a Soraka.
Okay. Honestly, I really like Soraka Ashe, but, like, they have to be so careful to not get tagged, because if either of them get hit by Braum, it's like lights out. You know, they're both super immobile, squishy bot laners, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the front line, right, and the Mumu and the Mundo, so there can, you know, be safe, but, you know, with how they played, they didn't really, I don't think, play it safely too well. You know, we saw lots of them get taken advantage by. The, you know, the Braum with the Nunu snowball, and, you know, I think the Boobly was like 0-7 at one point, so not super confident in their play. And I know this Iron hover is just a hover, and so this Sandy, we'll see Cassio.
Wow, we got the Cassiopeia pick. Okay, I definitely like this team comp way more, like, you know, in comparison to their last one. So
yeah, I think it's definitely interesting. You know, I would say they definitely, I think, in some ways performed a little bit better in the bot lane than I would have thought, because I definitely did not know how Zillion Hui was going to go. But Boobly's good on Ashe. You know, he's a very solid Ashe player. I don't know how the Soraka is going to do, especially into the Jinx Braum. But it kind of makes sense. We can kind of see what they're trying to go for. You know, they've got the strong front line in the Mundo and the Mumu. Cassio, you know, throwing the damage out with Ashe. They've got the slows, heals coming from Soraka, so it's all there. And of course, the only difference is we do have a different top laner. So Set, I think, is fine into Mundo. You know, doesn't get as much value from his E as before from the Facebreaker, but it's okay. And then, you know, I think Abarn's on a, you could argue, I mean, he played well on the Corki, so I can't really knock him too hard, but, you know, Ryzen is most played, and they needed some AP damage, so I think it makes sense.
Well, I think you know, as well as, you know, as much as I do, that sometimes he could get Rise and still not do great. So
you can get any champion not do great, let's be honest.
Exactly. So I mean, like, you know, of course, you know, we say it's his comfort. He does not play that champion, you know, pretty well. Like, it's really annoying playing against him, and he just, like, would ult out of everything we ever tried to do, which was extremely irritating. But you know, I like SOS's comp because they have a lot of disengage.
Yeah, I mean, those have a lot of CC, right? Exactly. I mean, you've got Cassio R, you've got Ashe R, you've got a Mumu Q, a Mumu R. I mean, you can even get Soraka E in there if you're lucky. And the slows from Mundo, the slows from Ashe, Like, there's, I think, a lot of really good strength on SOS. I know they're just not playing the fights super well this game. I think there's so much cleaner team fights from the Tasty Crab Legs that I'll just be more confident in them. They've got the momentum, they got the game one win. But I think TCL Salesmen can surprise. They have really good moments. It's just we got to see them consistently have those moments.
Right. No, definitely. I definitely agree. And, I think this comp is better suited to how they usually play anyway. With the exception of Lyle, because I think Lyle usually isn't like a carry top laner, like Volibear, right? Kale, what have you. So, but I mean, I remember his Mundo being like kind of annoying. So.
Yeah, and it's Mundo, right? I mean, you wait for 16, you wait for 40 minutes in the game, he doesn't die. Mundo's unkillable. I think they have some damage potential. Rise can do some damage to Mundo. Hippogriff, I don't think it's going to be doing too much. The dunk is going to be there so they can pop the shield. That's going to be good for them. But Jinx, needs to see how that's going to go. So, it's possible, right? The later the game goes, it does still help again. Now with Cassio on the other side of the map, but, I mean, Rise still scales, right? The Jinx was already very, very strong. So, I think, if anything this game, this is a very, very big game for Lyle to show up. Lyle did not have a good game. He kind of choked a little bit, to be a little bit unfair to him. But like he's a good player, right? If he has a solid game, I think the series changes. But I think if he loses and this goes south, I think it's gonna be very hard for him to figure out what to do game 3.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, but hey, this is game 2. Still a lot of time to make things happen.
Absolutely. They just have to brush it off. They had good moments. You have to remember that. We did well. We were, I think, intelligent in how we drafted a comp. It almost worked. We just kind of misplayed some team fights, and it happens, right? It wasn't like, someone did some really dumb things. It's just, hey, we got to clean some things up, come back together, and then we'll be just fine. And it's now really on them to show us how it's going to go as we head into game number 2.
We have, looks like standard 5-point defense. Okay, Sandy trying to poke out A-Barn early.
Yeah, a little bit of the I don't know if I want to say disrespect, but sometimes you see the dancing coming mid lane, and then you want to see just the emotes for fun, and no honor, doing some damage back and forth. So it's just gets a little bit, but they're going to heal back up, before the, minions hit. So it's all for naught.
For sure. And I'm personally really excited. I think. Oh, what's going on down here?
Just a little bit of some vision control, maybe just trying to sweep a ward. Greg is there, so at least does some damage. I mean, they're not going to get really much from that. There wasn't any ward to sweep. And they didn't even place a ward of their own because of the sweeper on the Braum. So, I mean, nothing lost, nothing gained, right? We see the top lane has a ward there early from, I think that was Rick, warding the bush outside of the blue. So maybe they'll get something out of that. But, I mean, honestly, both teams, just want a 5-point. Nothing too funky fresh here in the early stages. But we do have a little bit of a shift now. Both junglers are starting topside.
Yeah. Do you think Teach will do like a early lane gank? Or river gank?
You could. I mean, I think if they want to gank, the earlier the better. Just allows the opportunity for, either side to get ahead. And, the longer it goes on, it will be harder to gank, somewhat speaking. If Mundo gets 6, it's going to be harder for TCL to gank. And, of course, Set has some, more safety because he can ult the enemy team into his tower and try to run out. So, earlier the better, and I think that just sets, the other person off to a better start. We do have the level 2 Prio, though, so Boobly will be popping the barrier. Actually, just get a really great Jinx W. Boobly will be going down here early. That is a really good first blood and just disrespect from the TCL Salesman.
Yeah, see, that's exactly what I was worried about. Like, you get tagged by Braum, it's like over. You have to be really careful. And Ira, he's honestly, like, after playing as him in his Braum, he's a really, really aggressive support player.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it's just small mistakes like that start to add up, right? They should have known, hey, we're not getting level 2, right? They are hitting the wave, we need to back up. I definitely have fallen victim to that many a time because I'm definitely a very aggressive player. So, they kind of just gave up a free kill. There's no reason for them to be that close. He blew flash and barrier and still died. So, pretty tough. But, if I'm TCL, I'm super happy. That pushes Boobly super far back. I only have to use my flash. So, not too terrible.
Yeah. But hey, I mean, they just got to keep their heads up, First blood, but, like, as we're saying, like, they can stabilize, they can still make it out.
Yeah, I think they're definitely more in the safety of scaling this game, where they had like Corky Jinx. That was a little bit scarier, while, yes, A-Bar Talon, it will be scary. The opportunity with Lyle to get ahead for Boobly and Sandy, I think it'll just be a little bit better, so I think it'll be fine. Obviously, execution comes into play at that point, but, it's not a, insurmountable mistake here. It's just an early death happens, but we definitely don't want to see that happen anymore, as right now, early flash from Greg does, allow him to get a really great E for that silence. Greg will be able to walk himself out, so really good, save there.
Yeah, I mean, wow, it just feels rough. But I mean, like, I think they expect them to be ganked on repeat because, sums are blown. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely really, abusable now. No flash on either Greg or Boobly. They're playing Nunu, so they have to expect that to come down as now Nunu going mid lane. Sandy, I don't think he had the flash, to be completely honest. I don't think Abron has a damage, and Sandy has almost full HP, but he's going to flash regardless. Rick is topside, though, so they're at least going to get something back, as Lyle will be most likely taking this. Yep, is given over, so that is what we need to see. Lyle gets get ahead, gets that kill, and only had to use his ghost.
Nice. Wow, that was like, we literally had a fight in every lane.
Yeah, I mean, that's how this game is gone, right? One team sees someone fighting bot lane, they're like, gotta fight topside, gotta get some advantage, so we'll have to see if that is, the script we're playing with. At the very least, that's at least a equalization of gold, right? Helps them to at least get back even. That gets Lyle ahead, which is what we need to see. And of course, Sandy and Amaron's going to have a pretty, I think, even mid lane, so nothing too much to stand there. But honestly, I think Rick's had a really good start. Rick's been looking great in both Game 1 and now Game 2. He's been moving around the map. Yes, Tiga's, of course, always going to look good. He's playing the Nunu, so it's kind of free. But I think Rick's having a really good series so far.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, from my own personal experience, like, just, playing across these 3 TCL seasons, like, when Rick has to play in, like, a playoffs match or something, he really shows up. Like, honestly, he really is, like, there to do well, and you have to give him a lot of props for that.
Yeah, big game players get that big game respect, right? And hey, doesn't matter how you play in the regular season, right? You show up in the playoffs, and that's all that matters.
Well,
at least for those who can make it to the playoffs. But
yeah, I was gonna say, it does matter because my team didn't make it, so.
One exception there. I mean, hey, at the very least, you guys ended strong. You gotta respect that Game 5. So that's still something to be happy with, end on a high note. But we do have Rick taking the grubs, early grubs, again. But this time, instead of Dragon not being started, the Dragon will be taken. As Greg just takes some damage, we do have the Talon popping his cleanse. Rick will have... Ooh, IRIP! I did not think he had enough damage there, but... IRIP will be taking down old Greg because of the Ignite onto him. Nunu is here. They are looking for the dive, but Talon's got to be careful. Does take that tower shot. We do have the barrier as... Ooh, Boobly! Really good trade! That is a big mistake from Teague. Blows the flash to only go to his death. And if I'm the Sickle Salesman, that's a really good recovery.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, like, I'll trade my support for the jungler any day. No offense. But... that's really good trade. I mean, Rick gets to invade. Hopefully he makes it out of there. Maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, Rick and Teague, a little bit of a trading of the fights. We do have the early roam here from Hipgriff, so there is no level 6 on anyone, but Lyle does have his ult, could be deciding to go for something. Teague will just be immediately taking down Rick with a really big W there from Hippo, so Lyle just says, I'm good, I'm going to walk out. Honestly, I think he could have gone for an ult to try to kill one of them. I mean, I think he could have had a potential. There's a lot of, I think, secret damage from the Mundo, but maybe just playing a little bit safer from that game one, so doesn't really want to do anything but just let Rick die. So unfortunate there, didn't have the flash up in time, as Sandy and now Abarn trying a bit of damage, but that will be a kind of good pickup there from the attempted invade.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, so back on that following play, that was really good recovery from Boobly. Like, it looked, honestly, it looked kind of dire for a little bit, so...
Yeah, and this time, they don't stay in the tower for too long. They get the plates. They walk themselves out. They do have vision this time, so it's fine. Greg will be getting some damage down. Actually, the ultimate does come out from Rick, but... I'm sorry, IREP, but Talon actually will be able to get there in time. I thought he was going to be too far away, but it's a really, really great passive, as Sandy is here for the roam, so that means there should be a kind of trade back. Ultimate does not land from Boobly. I'm sorry, from Sandy, as I can't say any of these names correctly, but Sandy gets the kill. Flash from Rick forces Talon's flash, so a little bit kind of a good blow for blow, trade for trade. Abarn, though, in response, will be pushing this wave, trying to get a plate in response. Boobly will be trying to push this wave, as we do have Teagus here. Looking like he's going to be going for that. There's a flash still on the Ashe, but just gets to walk himself out. Rick is still here. Might be able to just use the slows. I mean, the ultimate is almost back up. Boobly could be looking for something with Rick, but looks like they're not going to be going for anything.
Okay, Boobly is really smooth on this champion. Jeez. Tej is really not giving them a break, which is, you know, fair, but yeah, I mean, Boobly's looking good on Ashe. I see Greg getting caught out a little bit, not respecting IREP's Braum. You really have to.
Yeah, and, after, especially that first death, right? I mean, good, I think, way to get himself back into the game, with being able to get that kill back. I think Greg is playing a little too overconfident. He's playing the Soraka. Can't really walk up the same way you can with the Zillion because you don't have as much safety. Plus, he's on level 6. We have level 7 on Talon, level 6 on IREP, and now he is just getting level 6. So we'll be able to use his ultimate to help his team if he needs to. But yeah, I think both bot laners need to be a little bit smarter, knowing that there is just a permanent new ball coming into their lane.
Yeah, no, for sure. Especially when, let me see, vision-wise, they aren't really sure where he is.
Yeah, and overall, they're not really, I don't think they're good at getting that vision back, since there's more often vision from the blue side than there is from the red side. Fortunately, they do get some damage on the pink. Looks like we're going to see Greg try to go back and finish the pink, and he should be able to do so. So that's something. We do have Nunu again coming here top side, as we have the ultimate immediately from Lyle. Just dodges, fortunately, with the move speed and the ghost pop. So no risk of death. We do have microscopic Rick here, so could maybe look for a response, because Hippogriff is half HP, now with full HP from Lyle. But Teague might just be looking to start the grubs again. Uh-oh. Boobly forces to flash. IREP now ults. They are under tower, though, so might be able to live. We do have the barrier pop and a really, really great, silence there from Greg, but not sure if they can really do too much. Lyle just doing some, I think, good damage, but still the W as double ultimate there. Abarn coming in, looks like the Flux stun, as he does get it in time. Ultimate from the Soraka can do nothing. Abarn takes the kill.
And that was crazy. There was like a fight going top and a fight going on bot at the same exact time.
Yeah, and with 3 topside, Teague starting the grubs, that means this is a dragon for the Snake Oil Salesmen, and that saves them 5 minutes. They did not have dragon control. Rick prioritized the grubs. This time says, let's buy our team 5 more minutes in case we need it, not give them a chance to have, a quick soul point. And that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, the scaling is happening. We have... I'm not sure who outscales the other. Would it be Rise or Cassiopeia?
I don't know enough about Cassio to tell you. What I can tell you is we have completed items on both mid laners. We do have the Mundo completed item with the Bork on set, so there is some damage coming through now on the bot side. Boobly's taking a lot of damage. Jinx Rocket is not up, so doesn't have to worry about that too yet. But, IREP and Talon are just doing so much to really pressure out the bot lane of Sauce.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I have to say that they're handling it pretty well overall. Like, the pressure is definitely turned up, but Hey, they're surviving. Oh, we have an Ashel.
Yeah, and speaking of pressure, we do have the ultimate there for Hippogriff throwing Lyle back into the lane. Used his flash for that, but Lyle does walk up. That is the Ash arrow missing, but Lyle actually got Teague. I don't even know how he got that. Maybe a really, really good cleaver, as Boobly just goes down from all the CC and the damage. And it's a really, really good 2v1 from Lyle, but unfortunately, it is just another death there on the Sauce bot lane.
Yeah. It looked like Tish just, like, accidentally stepped too far into turret range and then he got caught on the minion.
Yeah, I mean, I could believe that. Some really weird pathing. Lyle does do a lot of damage with his Q, so one tower shot, one Q is already kind of low HP. You never know, but I mean, Lyle, I think this is a kill opportunity if he just kind of runs at Hippogriff. You know, he does have the W, does have the face breaker if he needs it, but no flash, doesn't really want to push any kind of risk again. You know, bot lane's looking pretty rough. You know, 2k gold lead now for TCL, 2 plates left. We have the completed item and the BF sword, so that is a very, very strong Jinx.
Yeah. She is definitely scary, that's for sure, but one things I learned, it's it still takes a lot to kill Mundo, so...
Yeah, and at the very least, for the TCL Salesman, there is no anti-heal. There is nothing to stop the healing of Soraka or the Mundo. So that's going to be very, very important as the game goes on, as now looks like IREP's going to look for another kind of engage. Does have the ultimate coming up here shortly. Rick is now here, Flash Force there from Talon. Teague is here though as well, so IREP going to have the ult coming down here very, very shortly. Flash there from Teague, as they only get microsecond. Rick forces his flash, as it's just flash for flash for flash, but no deaths this time.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is a really tense game. You know, I know it's only game 2, but it's a very, very tense game, and like it, you know, both teams are willing to just pull the trigger at any moment.
Yeah, but unfortunately the trigger is just a little bit better here for the Tasty Crab Legs, as now that 2k gold lead's turned into a 3k gold lead. We're seeing a TP flank there from Cassio, so this is a really, really good opportunity. This is a great chance for them to get some gold back into their hands. IREP though will be getting the ultimate immediately, as Abon will be ulting himself down, immediately killing that Soraka. Talon takes down the Ashe. There is some support from Teague, and honestly, they don't even need it. Sandy risking his death. Flash is forced, as Rick does go in, get some damage and some CC there onto Teague, but no ult means there's really no chance for follow-up, and that is just a double death for the TCL Salesman again.
Yeah. No, oh my, these fights are crazy. Like, every time I think, oh, we're just gonna go back to farming, no, there's just like something else happening.
And, you know, there was maybe another chance there, as Teague, you know, did invade. We did have, you know, IREP there around, as now Talon's looking like he's going to take that mid lane tier 2. Boobly and Old Greg are forced under their own tier 2, as, you know, Rick is around, but they can't really do much, as Lyle will be looking to just go back topside. And honestly, I think this really just seems like there is objectives and goals for the TCL Salesman. Like, hey, we want to do this. Our hope is this. You know, we want TP flank. We want to do X. But I don't think there are really any kind of awareness on what the reaction and response might be from the TCL. Because we're seeing some really good ults from Abarn, you know, bringing his teammates there. We're seeing some, you know, great, I mean, Teague is everywhere on the map, and I just don't think Sauce are aware of how they're losing in the macro game.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, honestly, they seem really reactionary.
Yeah, and they just need to, I think, I mean, there's some proactivity that they're doing, but I just don't think they're ready for how quick the reactions are. But here's a potential kill opportunity there onto IREP. He just throw out the ult to get himself out, as Boobly fortunately gets that kill. We do have Teague here, but Lau can just tank that, doesn't even need to. Now, CC will be popped, just picks up that little orb, as Abarn maybe just tried to get some poke onto him, but because they have that kill, because they have the early kind of walk into the river, that's going to be Dragon 2 going over to Sauce.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, like, I was really saying that, and then we were like, actually, we're gonna be wrong, so kudos to them for picking out IREP with that Ashel.
Yeah, it's just finally a good timing for them. You know, every single timing they found was not in their favor, but fortunately they get IREP, who looked like he was almost going to live, but goes down. They get that dragon as a consolation prize, and it's still a 5k gold lead. They're still behind, but they have dragons now, so that is a win condition on the table.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I mean, I'm glad that, let's see, we're 18 minutes in, we're doing the mid-game. At least they are starting to really try to activate these fights themselves. Because before they were reactionary, but, they're making these fights on their own terms, and I think that's, like, what they really, really need to do to get a control of this in this series.
Yeah, and now with no objectives, 2 minutes away from Baron, just seeing some farming. Don't look for too much here, as honestly, this is a really, really good opportunity there from IRIP and from Hippogriff, but Sandy does throw out the ult, can't really throw out too much more, does not have the flash, and that is a really, really good trap laid there by TCL.
Yeah, no, that was like, is that a glass cone fight?
It might have been, but topside, looking like there's going to be another fight here as Abarn does throw out the ultimate to catch Lyle Walt, as he does, flash there for the Rune Prison stun, but Lyle just walking himself out, as that is a really, really good ult there onto Abarn. Slow's coming in now with Rick and the gang. Avengers have been called. The call has been responded to. Abarn's got to run now. That is another really, really great stun. They should definitely dive this guy. He does have the Seraph's Embrace shield, as Lyle is not done. He is going. Boobly is here, but that is a Jinx now. Trading his life for Abarn. Talon is now running them down. Boobly has to flash away. Greg is there. And there is going to be Rick to do something, but they might just not have the damage. Heal is used. Movement speed, trying to get themselves out. Boobly probably just going down. Cannot run away. Doesn't even have anything. Does have to burn, unfortunately, the flash just to go to his own death. And while it was a good 2 kills, unfortunately, they dived maybe a little too deep.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really, really good try. Like, they caught Sandy out in bot lane, so it's like you kind of have to try to get something back, and it looked really, really good at first, but unfortunately, the rest of the team was able to rotate in time to recover.
And it was honestly just a Seraph shield from Abarn. It saved him so much, as Rick is now trying to save that top lane tower, but can't really do too much. His team is there a little bit too late, and Jinx and the Braum will just be walking out. And again, objective bounties here will be spawning. That 5k gold lead has turned into a 7k gold lead.
Now it's like, honestly, if I were SOS, it's like, you really have to think, like, what do you need to do now?
Yeah, I mean, we did see what play succeeded, and that was them being reactionary. I think their proactivity has been tough because, TCL immediately responds, but I think if we see some more reactivity, allowing them to scale, get some more gold in their pockets, maybe see a good roam from Rick, Ash arrow across the map, or, maybe across the lane, I think that's what's going to really get them back into the game some more. But then maybe trying to be a little bit too proactive when they're already behind and they only get further behind, definitely I don't think that's what they want to do.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, even just looking at the gold right here, like, Talon is really, really ahead of Boobly. And looks like he bought the heal cut item, so.
Yeah, so there finally is some. Teague has the Oblivion Orb as well, so I don't think they really need heal cut, as they honestly get a reset cancel there. I don't think Hippogriff even realized what just happened, as TP comes in, Rick is there, damage is coming through, and this might be a really, really good fight. IRIP is very, very low. Sandy is here with Lyle. You do see the flash ult coming through, but Abarn looking like he's going to ult his team out, and they ult out, but now Hippogriff joins with no one there. He does actually get a great flash W onto Imold Greg, but that is about all he's going to be able to do. Jinx Rocket just goes wide, and they at least get one for their trouble. Actually, they get a couple more. I didn't realize how they killed IRIP and Teague, but unfortunately, that is Baron down. They lost their tier 3 tower on that bottom lane inhibitor, and that is almost a 10k gold lead now for TCL.
Yeah, I mean, it's so unfortunate because that fight looked so good, but it's like, again, they lost. Look at like what they lost overall. Like you were saying, the bot lane turret, they didn't get Baron, and they still, some of their members died in the process of it all.
Yeah, it just as, they get 1 or 2 things, TCL gets 3 or 4. So they just really always lose. There's very few opportunities where they're the only ones getting something out of it. And we have, what, about a couple more minutes here before we have the dragon spawning. About 30 seconds left, as we do have the blue side looking like they're trying, of course, going to stop the only win condition here on the red side, looking like they're just going to try to rush the dragon down. And TCL just says, have the dragon. We're going to get your whole entire base. Abar's most likely going to get that top lane turret. We're going to see that mid lane turret go down. That's probably going to be 2 inhibs, if not all 3, because that turret's already gone. So definitely maybe not the best trade. I mean, yes, they're on soul point. Yes, it's a objective bounty, but that's an inhibitor down. Probably going to be another turret down topside. You know, Lyle is here, but this could be very, very dangerous as the ultimate goes wide there from Boobly. Lyle pops the ultimate. That is a really good CC summon there from Rick. That's a lot of damage. Hippogriff does have to use a W, do a lot of damage back onto there, but Rick very, very low. Not really anything that they can do. Great E there from Hippogriff with the shield from IRIP means that is going to be another kill. Sandy's Fake and I'm Old Greg have to hold down the fort in a 2v4. Can they do it? I don't know. There's just too much damage, too many items. Great W from Talon. This could be the death. Great ultimate. Almost kills. I'm Old Greg as now Sandy just has to get something done. I mean, he's full HP, yes, but there's just too much HP. Abon full HP. Greg doesn't have anything he can do as there's just going to be killing the Nexus, and that is game 2 to TCL.
Well.
I mean,
is that what you expected?
I was hoping it was going to go a little bit closer, like Game 1 did. Right. You know, I think Game 1 was a lot closer the whole entire way through. You know, this game we saw almost a 10k gold lead pretty shortly, you know, into the game. You know, it's only a 24-minute game. It's a short game in TCL. I think what's really surprising is Hippogriff doing the most damage in the game. And I don't want to say that's like surprising because Hippogriff can't do that. I just think Lyle's gotten counterpick twice.
Right.
He's actually, well, he didn't get counterpicked this game because he obviously picked the Mundo early, right. And we saw the send response. But Lyle is supposed to be, you know, the highest ranked top laner. He's supposed to be the guy who can carry his team. And he is getting shut down repeatedly. You know, he's picking nothing that gives himself agency. Yes, the Olaf had that, game number 1. He just kind of hard lost to Hippogriff. And in this game, when they needed him to scale, I mean, he didn't do that much. You know, unfortunately, the bot lane's getting really taken advantage of. There's just too many simple deaths. I mean, Sandy's playing well, Rick's playing really well, but it's just kind of player diff to some degree. I mean, Jinx and the Braum just free scaled. I mean, IRIP's just a demon, and they don't have game 3 pick. You know, I would recommend to them, hey, if I'm Sauce, go red side. I'm sorry, go blue side. First pick the Braum, get yourself a Braum Ash or something that's safe, because the Braum's just doing so much, and they just keep dying. But I just don't think Lyle has a really strong champion he can pick. You know, he's losing the Kayle, he's losing the Camille, and I don't really know if Sauce has an answer at this point for what they can do for game 3.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, I feel like you just have to try to do something different at this point. Like, you know, they've been red side this entire time. Let's, like you were saying, like, let's try to pick the Braum up maybe, or they need to pick something bot lane that doesn't let them get dove on repeat. I feel like something that can wave clear the wave, or, you know, that isn't too immobile, but you know,
yeah,
that's up to
but
them.
Unfortunately, yeah, and it might not be too much since it is not in their hands. TCL rules do dictate that game 3 TCL gets side select, so I would not be surprised to see a TCL blue side once again. But we'll find out. We're going to throw it to break before we get to game number 3 to see if the Snake Hill Salesmen can continue the series. Stay tuned. This very well may be your David versus Goliath, your insurmountable opportunity, the big bad versus the little guy. This is your game 3. It's a TCL. It is Tasty Crab Legs versus the Snake Hill Salesman, and it is potentially the end of the series as Rioklu. Will we see a game 4? What do you think?
You know, there's a lot of pressure right now for SOS. I believe in them. You know, I love the underdog. I've always loved the underdog. And so, You know, who knows? I think it could be a reverse sweep. I'm gonna believe in them.
Everyone loves a good underdog story, right? Unfortunately, I don't think we'll be telling that tale after tonight. It is a really, really tough situation, for the St. Louis Salesmen. I think their momentum is really against them. I think the frustration could be at them. I don't know if they even have an answer, right? I think Lyle's been shut down. I think Boobly's been doing the best that he can. I think he's kind of been left out to dry by Greg a little bit. I mean, Sandy and Rickers look great. I think they've been playing great. It's just their team just kind of been falling apart around them, and they're trying to pick up their pieces. So I am, I would love to see them, kind of have a resurgence and be able to show off what they can do and, give them an opportunity to send this to a game 4, maybe even a game 5. But I just think TCL is playing too strong. They're playing too good. And they, unless pulled a very, very big surprising answer, this could just be a quick 3-0.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I'm curious how they're going to change up the strategy this time, to be honest with you.
I mean, I think it's just really tough with the Braum, right? I think it starts with the bot lane. There's just been too many deaths from Boobly and from Greg. I think I want to see Greg on something that isn't super important to live. We saw this earlier, we saw the Soraka. I think they both kind of function similarly in, hey, don't die multiple times in lane, you'll be fine. Unfortunately, they've died multiple times in lane, so maybe he plays a safer enchanter, maybe he plays a, just a strong engage champion. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised to see them get the Ashe again, so maybe just play, poke. I don't know. Play Ashe Karma, and just poke them down, or just play, Ashe Lulu or something. I don't know. Something where they can just, know that Teague's gonna pick Nunu. I'm saying that right now. Teague's picking Nunu, and they're getting run down bot. So if they know that, and they prepare in advance, maybe they can stop, leaving lane 0-4. And then they have a much higher chance to win. But so far throughout the bans, I mean, no surprise, probably gonna see the same 3 bans from both sides. Lilia, Lucian, forgot the third ban. Twitch, there's the third ban. And then, of course, Rammus, Kale, and most likely the Camille coming through here.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I feel like you could get arguably the same result regardless of what you ban from Talon or not. It's just do you want to deal with Lucian, who punishes you really early game, or do you want to deal with Twitch or Jinx?
Yeah, and honestly, he's played Jinx twice this game. He's this series. He's looked very, very good. Yeah, and there's your first adaptation. I think it makes sense that, hey, give him Lucian. It's a different champion. Makes him play something different. But I think the Braum ban is smart. That Braum just absolutely ruined their day. So maybe this opens the door for, Boobly and Greg to play something that gives them a little more capability, a little more agency. But of course, Lucian on the table means that that's going to be a first pick.
Okay. They are definitely, I'm 99% sure TCL is going to pick Lucian Nami. And I'm going to be very honest with you, Boobly and Greg do not play well into that, as someone who has played that into them. So, they need to be very careful with how they step up at all around the wave. I would definitely...
Interesting. Huh. Well, that's one way maybe to have some more safety. Thresh picked up there, of course. No surprises, especially for me. We've seen Teague play the same champion in multiple times in the same series. So, not surprising to see another kind of pick of the game with the Nunu most likely being locked in here. Oh! No way!
Wait, does he play Master Yi?
It's Master Yi. Who doesn't play Master Yi? I mean, it's one button, right?
Okay, obviously Coach plays Master Yi, right? Obviously. That guy has 2 million points on him or something, right? But I don't know. I've never seen T play Master Yi. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if anyone else knows, but...
I mean, I doubt he's played that in the TCL, right? I mean, I think every jungler has probably played Master Yi at one point. Right. He's kind of like a rite of passage, I feel. So, I think this is honestly just a disrespect pick, if I'm being honest. I don't think TCL is really worried about what's going to happen. So he's like, hey, let's have fun this game. I'm picking Master Yi. Lucian Leona is a very strong bot lane. They can easily rely on that scaling. And, Ash Thresh, I think, is fine. And, of course, Azir is a very well-known Sandy pick, so I think that gives him some good, scaling, of course. But I think this is, the gauntlet's off. This is just saying, hey, we don't think you guys are good enough opponents, so we're just going to lock the E.
Yeah. I mean, I do agree with you. That's why I was like, wait, Master Yi, kind of pick. And, I think good on them to also ban Yone. I mean, I noticed when TCL is, like, winning a series and it's, like, the last game before they could possibly win or something, Hippogriff will lock in, like, Yone or something. So,
Yeah, takes away that. I mean, maybe Lyle doesn't have a good counter, so they're going to, just take that away. As we do see the Victor taken away from A-Barn, we do see double jungle ban there, so maybe kind of forcing Rick onto the Amumu. I don't know if there's another champion that he likes really playing outside of the Zac or the Sedge. I think Amumu's fine. I mean, he looked good on the Amumu. Maokai would be interesting. I mean, yes, there's more CC, which might be good into the Yi. And of course, his ultimate gives a lot more CC across the map, but that would be a Maokai jungle.
Yeah, I'm not sure how good the clear is, to be honest.
No way he picks Renekton.
Wait, is that like bad? Is like Renekton super bad?
I've never seen Hippogriff play Renekton before, so that would be like a first time. Shen, sure. I think Shen into their team, especially thinking about the shield you can give to Lucian or Master Yi. The Rise. His goal is not to win the lane. So hey, I don't know what Lyle's gonna pick. This is a really free Darius game if he wants to play Darius. Alawi, I think is a fun one. I think it's okay matchup for Shen into Alawi. But at least I think this is a champion in which we could actually see him win lane on.
Is he like an Alawi main?
I don't think so. I think he plays a lot more like Kayle, Camille, those kind of carries, but I just think Alawi as a champion just gives him a little bit more than like Mundo or even Olaf. I think Olaf's a little more one-dimensional with, just run at them.
Right.
But like Alawi, you flash R into the middle and you just do Omega damage and you can't be killed. So I think that just is probably better for the potential 1v9 carry. But
right.
Overall, what are your feelings of these two comps?
Yeah, I mean, okay, I don't like the Master Yi pick. I mean, it looks just like a disrespect pick to me, right? So that's just what that one is. I have no idea what Alawi does into Shen. I assume she'd win that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Alawi lanes are pretty standard. She's just going to try to poke you out and damage you down, steal your soul, and, I don't think Shen, hard wins, and, by any stretch, but I think, it's fine, because he can have, the W shield, he can get a little bit of range with his Q, so I think, of all the champions that he's playing, I think it's okay.
Yeah, but, I mean, there is that, the Shen ult, the global threat of that, plus we have Rise ult movement, so I think, that is a little bit concerning when you consider that. I mean, I like Sandy on Azir, honestly. That's his champion,
Yeah.
Like, when I think about Sandy, I think Azir or Aurelion Sol. But,
yeah.
So, it's good that he's playing that champion as well. I believe, Boobly and Greg, these are their comfort pick champions as well. So, it's really good to see. And I've seen Rick play Maokai, so I think everyone's playing things they're just comfortable with on SOS. So I think it should be a good game for them.
Yeah, and if you're going to go out, on the back foot and, being your game 3, season could be over spots, Comfort's a good choice, right? You can't go wrong. At least gives you probably a higher win percentage than other comps. But, if there's one thing against the Azir pick, I don't think this team has seen 30 minutes in the game yet. So Azir needs time to scale, and they have not often gotten that time. So if we see a similar game script to game number 2, it's going to be a quick one. Right. If the Yi was in the game, I think the comp would be kind of gross. You have Leona that can just do anything. You've got Lucian, Rise, which are, 2 solid picks for both these players. And then you got the Shen ult. I mean, there's so much safety. There's so much security. So, yes, the Yi is a little bit disrespectful, but I think overall, the comp is just going to be really, really strong. And yes, I think there's a strong composition on the alternate side. If they can peel back We see a little bit, of the CC coming through from Maokai. We see maybe the Zero come through. Astral with the Thresh Flay, with the Thresh Hook. They can counter this, but they haven't been playing well. And they haven't looked super strong. I think, Alao's going to do fine. I think Lao's going to look fine. I think this game is really going to be decided in the bot lane.
Yeah. I mean, I hope during that break they just reset their mentals, and I think, just going in with, trying to with, like, a clean slate as much as possible is really the key here, especially in, like, this type of series.
Yeah, 100%. Frustration could be a play. They kind of got slaughtered game number 2. And, maybe the bot laners are not very happy, and so they're going to be playing even worse. Maybe we're seeing a little bit of Lyle frustrated because he's getting shot down. Who knows? I think definitely the first 5 minutes could tell the story of how the game's going to go. Either way. So it's really on the onus of SOS to show us why they should get to a game 4.
Yeah, for sure. And looks like we have a standard 5-point here. I'm surprised that no one's invading. But I guess, they like to play a little safe early, which is fair.
And, I mean, I don't hate invades. I think we've definitely had our moments in which, my team has invaded and we got, wiped, especially by, it was against this team. Lao started like 3-0, so that was tough. But, if you're on the back foot and, this is the game to end your season, it's not always the smartest risk to say, hey, let's invade and then potentially even, throw the game right there. Mm-hmm. So I don't hate the, hey, let's be patient. Let's because again, this team scales with Sandy. If Sandy can get to late game, that's gonna be super awesome. The Alawi's just gonna want to snowball. Ashe hopefully gets time to not get throttled in the bot lane. But at the same time, obviously, you've got Lucian, you've got the Yi, you've got of course Ryze. So it's still scary on the other side.
Yeah, it looks like Tish is turning his chickens, so Lucian and Leona gonna get to bot lane first. For that level 2 prio.
Yep. Now the question is, does Sauce know this? As in, are they actually going to prepare in advance and not get level 2 killed again? Hopefully. Now, fortunately, it looks like they're even on the minions. Obviously, Greg's got the Spell Weaver, whatever you want to call the CSing thing, so they can hopefully at least trade this to be able to hopefully get an even level 2. But definitely do not want to see them die to another level 2 advantage.
That's for sure. It looks like they're deciding to concede already. I can see Boolie's like backing off the wave. Yep.
Good. They're learning. They're improving. That's exactly what we want to see. Important adaptations to make. Because that wave is going to push in regardless. Don't give up free damage. Don't give up, potential free sums. But at the same time, we're seeing a slight there kind of pressure from Lyle, which is to be expected here in the early game. Obviously, Ryze and Azir is going to be pretty standard, I would say, for both teams just kind of wanting to take their time. Really, really good trades here from Lyle. Topside gets a good soul steal, gets a lot of damage there onto Hippogriff. He's kind of pushed back, has to pop the potion, and this is a much better start for him.
Yeah, you can't count Hippo out though, because this is what happened in game 1, and then, well, one gaming.
Yeah, it's only 3 minutes, right? Teague is sitting here, so they're looking for potential lane gank. Could maybe walk around and see a flash E from Hippo. But, Shen doesn't really have to worry about going slightly down in CS. So, look for an opportunity. Lyle is too far away, so didn't want to, risk a, flash E for anything. But we do have A-Barn pushing in Sandy here in the mid lane, as looks like there's going to be an early scuttle there from Rick.
Just nice and quiet so far, exactly what SOS wants.
Yeah, we do see some, maybe opportunities for a hook play there on the bot side, from Rick. I think, obviously, whoever engages first will lose. So ideally, if I am Sauce, you want to hook Talon. If you hook IREP, you do not go in. Because IREP will just eat onto your backline, and then it is game over for your Ashe. So really, really important to make sure you hit the right person.
Well, Thresh can flay Leona, so in the disengage portion. But that's a bit of a skill thing, but looks like they're pushing him in.
And speaking of something, okay, a little bit of damage there on mid lane for A-Barn, getting Sandy pretty low, doesn't want to risk anything further. Sandy will be poking down as there isn't too much mana on A-Barn, so it's not like a huge opportunity. I mean, it's there if anyone wants to go for like a flash route into a Q, but Sandy will get enough HP, he's got enough potions, so it should be okay as we will see Rick there on those top river bushes, just in case.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually just like a great hover from Rick.
Does give Sandy the safety to obviously push that wave in. Teague is around, so if Teague comes a little bit earlier in time, as we do see the ping out, so he is walking there. Flash on Sandy, though, probably can shovel himself out, so it's okay. As fortunately, no early deaths just yet. Looks like they tried to push that wave in bot side, but they're just kind of give it up, let them get that control back. So far, not too bad. You know, the CS is relatively even speaking. You know, the disadvantages are, oh my god, takes them across the world there, as they do have the early roam. This is a 4-person roam. That is a really great hook. Greg guarantees that kill onto Teague, trying to give it over there to Sandy, but he'll kind of flash for nothing. That is still a really, really solid first blood, forces Teague's flash, and they can even consider going for this early drag.
Yeah, wow. That, you know, we haven't seen that so far in the series, Teague getting caught out by SOS, so really good on them. You know, they have, like, as you can see, vision in the river, and yeah, I mean, that was just really, really good collapse from them.
Yeah, meanwhile, both flashes are traded topside. We did have the level 6 prio from Lyle, so it does kind of pop the ult because Hippo was playing a little aggressive. Both flashes are forced, so it's kind of just even right now. Hippogriff is very, very close to the beginning 6, but we'll just see a kind of reset there from Lyle. And yeah, you know, I mean, I think that was just a very, very fortunate timing for Rick to be taken for a journey there from Teague's flash. So it's kind of fortunate there sometimes with how that works out.
Yeah, Twisted Advance is a crazy spell.
We do have Rick hovering there in the bot side, clearing some vision, making sure that we can just have a safe ability to farm. You know, Talon is up almost 15 CS here, so not too bad. You know, fortunately there is no deaths yet, so that is what we want to see from Boobly and Greg. Level 6 finally hit from Hippogriff, starts and builds the Bramble first, just for any of the healing of the Alawi, but we'll have to find out how soon he uses his ultimate, but there is the gang coming in. Teague and Aaron will be ulted in, and there will be just a lot of damage coming in through Lyle. No ultimate means he can't really do much. Tries to take Hippogriff down, but unfortunately he can just get himself out there, and that is just a really, really solid room opportunity.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, that Rizal, so sneaky. So sneaky. I feel like it would have been different if Lyle had his ult, though. Like,
yeah, I mean, Lyle could have probably lived for longer. They probably have need to play that fight a little bit differently, but still in the 3v1, you know, you have the heal cut from Hippogriff. Probably still would have died, especially with no flash. You know, just probably need to play a little bit smarter, knowing that his team was there on the dragon. They do get the early cloud, so there's something, trying to maybe build them into a win condition. But
right.
Just really unfortunate for not really being aware of the potential flank ultimate from A-Barn.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what was going on in comms, so I hope they called it out, or they should in the future.
Definitely didn't, right? I mean, looked like Lyle had no idea, so it just happens, right? I mean, A-Barn hasn't done that too much this series, but that's been probably the second time we've seen that ultimate, so probably just need to have Sandy be a little bit more communicative of any potential opportunities, but, you know, it's fine. There is still a 20 CS lead from Lyle. He's still going to have pressure in lane, but definitely helps at least, you know, get Teague a little bit farther ahead.
Okay. We have Rick looking to gank bot, but no, got caught up by Ward, just putting some vision down. He's still around.
He does have level 6 now. He did not have level 6 until too long ago. I mean, Talon just walked straight at him. I think they had vision of him, so I don't really know what I'm looking at with that, but Talon's probably going to be able to just flash away. Doesn't really need too much, as now we do have Teague here. There's just flashes traded back there from Boobly getting out. And now A-Barn is here. Yee's going in. Ultimate there from Talon. Forces that flash. Rick will be going down to A-Barn. Boobly trying to get something back. Ultimate there from the Thresh to really just scare Abarn away, but I mean, everyone's still sitting around. Azir, unfortunately, too late to rotate, and that's just a kill going over to TCL.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised that, I guess it just didn't look like a good angle for them.
Honestly, I think it was, like, it looked good because Rick did not have to use his ultimate, but Boobly and Greg were just too far away. They could not follow up with the CC, so it was kind of just tough because, again, TCL is just moving as a team better. You know, Teague was immediately there, Abarn immediately roamed down. So, you know, these guys are coordinated. These guys are together. And that's been the difference. You know, there's just not enough teamwork. And, you know, even more, you know, that even pushed them farther back into their tier 2, pushed them out of lane was TCL. So, you know, what was a, you know, good kill brings them to a 1k goal advantage.
For sure. Oh, what's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really, really good opportunity now. We do have the flash from Abarn, and now Teague is here, so he does pop the ultimate. Rick does not have his. We'll be hoping to walk himself out, but there's just too much damage coming through. Greg is here, just kind of stops. Didn't really have the W there ready in time, didn't really look for anything more, so that's just a really, really unfortunate moment to where, yeah, you got Abarn's flash, but again, just couldn't really get too far. Sandy did not maybe want to use his flash ult, and that's just another kill for TCL.
Yeah, it looks like Sandy was like trying to hold it to maybe guess where he was landing and push him into the turret. Because I believe you can control where you exit now, right?
Maybe? I don't know Azir too much.
Oh, no, from Yi Alpha Strike.
Oh, yeah, I think maybe. There's some weird stuff, but, you know, I just don't think they had too much of the damage. You know, Rick does not do as much damage as a Yi will. And of course, Sandy will be doing somewhat similar damage to Abarn, but you know, Abarn 2-0-1 now. He's got like a slight CS advantage, so the gold's going to be in his favor. There will be at least a grub take, so Rick at least gets something because there's no objective. So there's just at least something happening, so it's kind of still some good priority, or I should say proactivity coming through.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Some good grubs.
Yeah, I mean, any objective is a good objective, especially for taking turrets, which is what Alawi is going to want to do. Bot lane, though, I mean, there is just zoning going on from Talon and from IREP. You know, Boobly and Greg cannot really walk up too much. You know, they're already down 30 CS. Fortunately, not down a kill, though. So that's still good for them. They're still doing much better than they have ever done in this series. So it's going to be a positive heading into the later stages of the game. You know, the Ashe ult's going to provide some good opportunities. You know, maybe an ult into a Thresh hook will be big, or even a follow-up from Sandy. You know, see an ultimate with a Shrima shuffle. As we do just see trading again, going on top side, back and forth. Hippogriff is not taking too much damage as he's very, very close to his Sunfire cape. And, you know, the lead just keeps being pushed as much as possible here as pings on the dragon, trying to hopefully get this this next dragon here as it's just spawning.
Oh, they're just gonna start right up.
Yep, they know they have the pressure bot lane, they know they have the pressure top lane, so there's no fear. They have, they have the early control, so nothing to worry about. They know they can win a fight easily. Rick does not have really anything to scare them, and that will be a Mountain Soul again this game.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it looks like they shoved the wave bot and then Abarn as well, so they were just in position to collapse if needed.
And we do have a little bit of a hover there from Rick. Sandy is kind of nearby as well, so maybe looking for an opportunity. You know, that's a really good hook and a ultimate there onto IREP with the ultimate there coming in from Rick. Not sure if they really needed a TP from Sandy, but the TP and response, we do have the ultimate there from Hippogriff, does not take him there. TP there from Alawi, flash forwards, forces Talon's flash, gets that. They need to dive this. I think they're using way too much and not getting enough in response, but I think that's 2 TPs, multiple flashes for only 1 kill. Yeah, they got a kill, but they burned so much for it.
Yeah, no, exactly, like, and they're losing Herald, Hippo is getting damage on the top side turret.
At least there's no plates for Hippo to get, that's one thing. We do see another Rise ultimate coming through. Boobly does have flash and his barrier, so just walks out. I mean, that's at least good for them. Sandy goes in, does have the ultimate. Ooh, that's a really, really good Q there from Teague. That is a really opportune time, but they at least force him off the Herald, so that's another objective going their favor. And, you know, they're trying to at least bring the gold deficit back even. 2k gold lead, just over a 2k gold lead for TCL.
Okay, it looks like they're moving up top.
Yeah, but you see pings here on the Herald. They want to try to stop this. This is a 4v3, maybe 4v4 if Hippogriff comes down. So, I mean, they should just take this Herald. They're looking like they're trying to fight, but they don't really have any CC to force this. So, not sure if they're just trying to, you know, zone them away, get them, you know, chipped down so they can't fight for this Herald. But not sure they really need to get off as hard because they kind of want them to come into them. But at the very least, that stops the Herald. Just trade them, you know, for HP. And, I mean, that's probably a, you know, good play from TCL.
Yeah. That's for sure. Okay, cool.
Irip's still here.
Yeah.
I mean, Sandy has flash, he has his shuffle. Does actually land the E, but that's a really good time shuffle. That's an ultimate coming through onto Irip. Not sure if Sandy has a damage. I mean, he's doing a lot of damage. Booply is here now. That is an ultimate thrown down. Does not hit anyone, just slows them. Mega Scrapper Rip taken for a ride, and that is a Irip death. Really, really good roaming kill.
Yeah, Booply is deadly with these Ashalts. Like, he's either landed every single one or, like, nearly landed it. So, his accuracy is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what they need this game. I mean, they need to find any way to get an advantage as Teague running Lyle down, does throw on the ultimate, but because of the heal cut, actually does get one! Hippogriff might be taken down next, but fortunately, the Q damage is too much. Abon is roaming up. Rick is in the wings with Azir, so this is actually maybe a decent fight angle. Sandy does not have a lot of HP. Great ultimate from Sandy. Shuts down Abon. Won't be able to get Hippogriff here shortly after the W expires. Double kill goes to Sandy. 3-0-2. They are showing signs of life.
Oh my god, they're alive! Love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, Greg might not be alive, though, as Talon throws down the ultimate. That is a really good E from Irip. At the very least, it does go over to him, so that's one little short, you know, I guess good thing from SOS, but again, you know, they're just not respecting the damage here. They are a level down from Talon. I mean, it's only 2 deaths, so it's not terrible. You know, this will be the tower going down, but at the very least, Sandy is ahead. Lyle is still very, very strong, so if there is any game the team could win, it would be this one.
No, for sure. Oh my, that Azir damage is just crazy. What is that?
Yeah, I mean, that's only a 1 item Azir too. You know, he hasn't even finished the Leandries yet. So, you know, as soon as he finishes that, he's going to be doing a lot of damage to these tanks. Lyle does finish the top lane turret. Just get some damage here on Hippogriff. No one's around, so Hippogriff should be a little bit careful. There's no really need to fight this. I don't know why he thinks he's stronger, but I guess he just feels confident because maybe his team can roam. I mean, actually, he does a lot of damage to Lyle. Forces out the ultimate. Hippogriff now has to be running away, but the slows are just too much, and he just kind of gives up his life for free.
Yeah, I guess it's just the confidence talking.
I mean, sure, that's something. I mean, Lyle's gonna be happy with that one. Just kind of free money to the bank. So it goes. I mean, this now kind of just gives a free dragon over to SOS since they have no top laner to kind of help them. They've got that early control. Sandy is here bot side with Lyle deciding going top. Imran doing some pretty good damage, but knows he probably can't be doing too much more because his team's going to be there soon. And that's, I mean, this, what was almost a 3k gold lead at one point, is becoming pretty close to a 1k gold lead. Ultimate does land there onto Avon. We do have the immediate ultimate there from Hippogriff, but they should have a lot of damage. Ultimate there throws them back under tower, so I'm not really sure if that's what Sandy meant to do. Unless maybe he meant to throw them into his own tower, or sorry, into his own team, so they could get something done. Herald is popped topside, so this will be running down the tier 2. Lao should be here to be able to stop this, as Talent and Irip are also here alongside Hippogriff and Teague. So, gets at least one tower down, chips down this tier 2 to half HP. Tier 1 bot side is traded. No deaths, unfortunately, for TCL, but at the very least, I mean, this gold lead is starting to lessen.
Yeah, I think why Sandy... He was just, like, probably concerned about the Shen taunt, but even after, I think it probably would have been fine, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, they had more than enough damage there. Flash there onto Teague, forcing him to use his Q because he's under tower. Also there from Leona, just gets a little bit short. Lyle is here, throws on the ultimate there onto Irep, is able to just get himself out. Great shield there from the Thresh W. Lyle just take down Irep, I think, with the fade away tentacle. And, I mean, that's just a solid tower defend.
Yeah, no, for sure. Those tentacles, man. I'm gonna be really honest. I have no idea how to play against that character, except killing the tentacles.
Yeah, she's not very fun. You definitely need heal cut, and as soon as she ults, you gotta leave. That's the one thing. So, force out the ultimate, stop fighting, and then fight when the ultimate is not up, and then you'll be fine. If she cannot scale for free and get, a very strong game, then she's just like kind of any other top lane champion. But I mean,
Right.
2 items on the Salawi, she's definitely getting to a little bit of a scary range.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's a really good pick because the only one that has range is honestly A-Barn.
Yeah, and Sandy is here in the bot lane, pops the tower. I wish I would have seen the ultimate there to throw him into the other side, because I think Sandy could have actually killed him. But just, I guess, scares Hippogriff off, gets a little bit more pressure with that tower down. Ultimate goes wide. I don't think there's really a kill opportunity, but maybe just trying to get some poke down, maybe force out Talon's flash, but unfortunately, it goes a little wide.
Yeah. It might have been to stop the engage.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we always like zoning ultimates. Never a bad thing. Mega Cyber Rick is here in the wings. Maybe just trying to force down this tier 1. I mean, there's so much damage from Talon, though, so should be able to clear this wave, no problem. Tower still has a lot of HP left. Hook is just out of range. And just going to get some vision here around the Baron.
Ooh, looks like Lyle might be in a bit of trouble.
Looks like he's just going to be able to walk himself out. Tries to go for the Soul Steal. Avon will be able to dodge that. Forward vision at least helps them. Talon isn't too far terribly behind. I mean, he's definitely down behind an item. Down some XP, but, he's definitely in a much better spot than he's ever been in. No deaths this game. Greg only 2 deaths. Is down a level, but, the utility that these champions provide will still be very, very impactful. And definitely, wanting to play around Sandy and Lyle here.
Ooh, what?
I mean, just trying to maybe do the same thing, zoning ultimate, get some poke down, trying to get this tower down. There's only a few hits left, but with enough of the safety of his teammates, Boobly will be able to clear this wave. That turret is literally 1 auto away from dying, so we'll have to see how long it will be lasting, as Hippogriff still pushing this bot lane wave. Sandy is just, sitting around with his TP ready in case he needs to join. Ibarn matching the Alawi, and I think we're just really waiting for another dragon to spawn here.
Yeah, looks like it. Oh, hold on.
He is hovering bot lane. I mean, Sandy is there. TP immediately from Lyle to help protect him, so there's going to be a TP burn. Dragon is up in 45 seconds, so, not a terrible TP to burn, just based on the timing. They're just going to try to clear out some vision, get some forward vision as well, as Lyle pushes this bot lane wave, so not too much loss off of that, and of course, Sandy kept alive is important.
Looks like they're starting a Baron.
I mean, not a bad call. Lyle is bot side with no TP, and Hippogriff can easily join with his ultimate or his TP. In response, though, that'll be a mid lane turret immediately going down. At least there's some vision for them in the top lane river, but Dragon spawning in 10 seconds. Hippogriff is being pushed back from Lyle, so probably not really an opportunity for them to get this Baron, and they'll just have to give away this Dragon more than likely.
For sure. Oh, looks like they kind of want to contest it. Oh!
Ooh, there we go. Flash E forces out the ultimate that just forces us out too late. Shutdown going over to Hippogriff, but Sauce is on the Dragon. They will be taking it. This is Mountain Soul Point for them. Very, very good objective control as Irep is here. Maybe still looking to fight, but Irep is here very, very early. Ultimate now from Hippogriff comes through, but there is just not enough damage. Ruby just immediately dies. Talon does get the kill. Rick will be the next one to fall as they try to get out with that Emperor's Divide, but unfortunately divided themselves in numbers, as this will now be a potential walk over to Baron.
Oh yeah, no, they're gonna get this Baron all right. Yeah, I don't know. They should just take the dragon and run. I don't know why they knew Lyle died, so and I mean they saw them collapse on Lyle, so they should have just honestly left.
Yeah, and again, it just comes down to that macro awareness, right? We've seen this all games in this series. They make a play and they don't really understand the ramifications. That, Hippogriff can join at any point with his ultimate. That is a really good E onto Sandy, but they can't finish him off. Great hook there onto A-Barn. At least keep Sandy alive, but that is a Baron given over to TCL.
Honestly, every time you say TCL, I have to remind myself that is a team's that's a team's acronym.
Yeah, I don't know why A-Barn really let that one through. That's a really great hook onto A-Barn. Speaking of, hook and the flay, and that is actually the hook secure there from Greg. Not the best person to get that kill, but definitely important for him to shut down A-Barn. Gets one more Baron off the map, and maybe allows him to take some damage on this tier 2. Rip coming in, immediately throws out his ultimate, but the immediate Rick ultimate in response. Greg is just a fiend for these kills, gets another one, and that, hey, kills for SOS is very, very good. Gives them some more priority into this mid lane. TP from Hippogriff. Not really sure if he needs to do that. Early hook there as they're trying to fight him. Teague is here though. Not really sure if they could get too hard. Needs to get this tower down quickly. Teague doing the damage, but ultimate there from Lyle Walt with the turret now coming down. Hippogriff is very, very low. Flashes himself out, but Lyle goes in, forces the ultimate from Talon. Greg goes for the hook. Minions protect Talon, and they're still down 3k, but they are, again, clawing their way back. Those are some really good kills. Sandy is getting stronger. Lyle is still very, very strong, and, this is looking good for them. 26 minutes, they've got themselves in this game.
Yeah, no, for sure. Wow. Honestly, they look so comfortable on these champions, and it's really, really showing in their play, it feels to me.
Yeah, they should just pick this comp 1, game 1. But hey, they tried something, didn't work, and finally they go back to the old bread and butter. So, question still remains though: can the bread and butter get them through breakfast? Who knows? Teague is here onto Rick. Doesn't look like he's going to immediately engage because Greg is around with the lantern. Doesn't even need to take it. No objectives really just means that they are trying to withstand the Baron power play, we might call it. Hippogriff is doing just fine. He's got almost 3 items now. Level down there from Lyle. Lyle is on his way to finishing his Sterix. That's a lot of damage there from A-Barn in the bot side. But, A-Barn's very, very strong. Almost has the hats completed. Blighting Jewel there for Sandy, looking like to get some more Magic Pen. A-Barn taking down this tier 2 tower bot side, going down pretty quickly. Not really much they can do. TP coming through. Unfortunately, the arrow was just a little too late. I think they did the cart before the horse. Need to land, I think, that ultimate before the TP, but at the very least, at least Lyle protects the tower. Pressure mid lane, as it is an ultimate there going on to Teague. Teague is very, very low. Ultimate in response as well from Hippogriff. Very, very low going down there from Rick. Lyle is finally here, though. Does a lot of damage. Stays alive for almost enough. Sandy takes down 1, takes down 2, and that will have to be it, as that will be a disengage from TCL. Teague at least, gets Lyle, and we do see Boobly and Rick go down. So, again, as they get 2, TCL gets 3, and they always just get one more little bit. Dragon spawning here in 30 seconds. Respawns will be, I think, slightly in the favor of TCL Salesmen. They do have the early control. They do have the vision being cleared. No TPs, though, unfortunately, so Lyle's going to have to walk it all the way down. So this could be a just, smite steal fight over the soul.
Yeah, but it's good on SOS to put them at that soul point pressure. I think they could definitely still do this. Let's see, Shen ult's not up for a bit, and that's pretty important.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, is the ultimates are down. Teague's almost got his ult back. Lucian's got his ult back coming soon. Lyle's got his ult shortly, but that is really, really bad. Rick just getting immediately blown up. Boobly might be next. Throws the ultimate to keep himself alive. And that definitely now will be Dragon going over to TCL. Rick just could not be there. He had no teammates. They had all the vision they played for, but I don't think they realized that they were, just waiting and setting up that trap.
Yeah, that's rough, buddy. But I mean, luckily it's only TCL second dragon, so not too bad.
Definitely, they're only, well, Golden, unfortunately, is still slowly increasing. It's about, what, 3k? Boobly most likely going to be going down here. Does have the Lantern, takes it. Actually does live, so thought the Lantern was just a little bit too late, but look at the tier 2 tower. Walking here up into the top jungle, trying to take away some camps. So, what we're talking about, a 4k gold lead, almost a 5k gold lead. It is increasing. Sandy's still very, very strong alongside Lyle, so really, we just need to make sure they look for the right fights, maybe get a good Astral pick. That's really, I think, really what Sauce needs to ensure they can stay in this game.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, honestly, it really seems like it's all these fights have been happening because of Booply's like really good Ashult, so it seems dependent on him to hit that.
Yeah, I mean, they've had really good follow-up, right? As soon as Ash ults and lands it, you see the hook from Greg. We maybe see Rix throwing his ult down. So the CC layering is what's been working, so just need to see that more. Looks like we might be seeing them kind of all moving topside jungle to maybe pick out A-Barn. Just maybe gonna get, some back to push this wave. Baron is back on the map. Sandy just pushing bot side against Hippogriff. So Talon actually immediately starting this, but fortunately there is a vision on this, so they will know what's happening. Sandy's fighting Hippogriff, maybe trying to get him down so he can't use the ultimate, but this is almost gone. Lyle flashes in. Doesn't even matter, as he's probably just going to be killed immediately. Does some good damage onto Teague, and does actually take him down, but trades right back. Hippogriff misses the taunt, but Rick will be taken down. Talon takes him. And, I mean, yes, they get Teague, but unfortunately there's another Baron given over. They're just too slow to the rotate.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I honestly feel like if they're there earlier, they definitely could have contested this.
And they had vision. They knew exactly when they started it. So it was just maybe too slow. I don't really know what they're waiting for. I mean, Lyle had a really good flash ult. And if any more of his teammates were there, if Sandy was there with him, just, like, autoing attacking over, that could have been a one fight. Maybe they get an ace, but now they're pushing down this mid lane inhibitor. I mean, they are so strong. This is a 7k gold lead. At this point, the lead's becoming close to that insurmountable point. But, I mean, there's still the opportunity for a good Ashult into a play. I mean, Sandy's just splitting too much. I think Sandy being so strong, he just needs to be with his team, and he just hasn't been in the last couple fights.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
It's just the coordination, the cohesion's just not as clean as TCL's.
Yeah, especially like Sandy has like 4 items now. He is strong. Just gotta be to do the DPSing.
Yeah, I mean, he also had TP up that fight, so
Exactly.
I mean, he knew he was probably getting Hippogriff low to like force him out and force him to maybe TP or ult, but I think we needed to see an immediate TP there from Sandy, an immediate committal. But obviously, too little too late. Top jungle will be stolen here by the Tasty Crab Legs. Lau will just be backing top lane, won't be getting picked out because he'll be getting out in time. So, at the very least, I mean, Lyle's almost on his 4th item, picks up the Spectre's Cowl, has the completed Sterix, so he's going to be strong in these fights. Boobly is almost at his 3rd item. I mean, he's still very, very far behind in gold, to be honest. I mean, we see 4 items from Talon, so it's just a really kind of CS differential at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's about almost 5k gold difference between them.
So really, really good damage there into A-Barn. I mean, forces Hippogriff's ultimate. That's pretty good. Forces these, Seraph's Embrace Shield, which is so big. And that's a flash E from Sandy. Hippogriff does throw out the ultimate, but it does not matter. Hippogriff will, with the help of A-Barn, take him down.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And then it's just a missed ultimate. Boobly did throw his ultimate there on the bot side. TP as well from Lyle, but A-Barn will just ult his team out. They're just taking more and more of this map, and they're just giving nothing in return. Lyle, yes, he might be mid lane, but what can he possibly do? I mean, gets vision of IREP, ward goes down immediately, gets his soul, but just really just chip damage here as the dragon will be spawning in 10 seconds. But unfortunately, Sandy is up in double that, so more than likely this will be a given dragon.
Are they gonna bush cheese them again? Okay, I was gonna say like. Oh,
They very well could. I mean, if they bush cheese them, that's probably just going to be the end of the game. But they gotta respect that we do not have our mid laner, our strongest member of our team. Just gonna have to give this up as Rick might be coming out here. Ultimate lands. Yeah, he is just dead again. Rick just kind of disrespecting where he can stand. Again, no safety of his team. Greg is nowhere to be found with the lantern, and this could be the final push here, starting soon.
Yeah, it looks like he might have been in the shop, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it really makes you think, if Rick did not get picked off when it was sole point for them, could this have been a different game? I don't think one mistake ever defines a game, but that was definitely a really big loss for them to lose Soul. Mountain Soul would have been big into this team. Obviously, we should have seen a lot more, but Abarn gets engaged upon there. Sandy Snake does use his ultimate, does force out Hippogriff's ult. I wish maybe they could have waited to have him ult there to kill him as well. But Old Greg gets that shutdown. Unfortunately, does not go over Sandy, but they take down Abarn nonetheless, and Sandy does still live. So at least that is something.
For sure. I was gonna say you gotta put respect on Greg's name. He saved Sandy.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they need. That stops the push, allows them to maybe get some more gold in their pocket, and just maybe try and group up for another 5v5. I mean, you need to push this vision out. Finally moving together a little bit. Hippogriff is top, but he does have TP if they need it. Getting control of their bottom jungle for hopefully just another wait. I mean, Baron's up in a minute. Don't really need to be pushing too far forward. Just kind of let these waves push into them, get some more CS, get some more gold, because this advantage has turned to a 10k, almost 10k gold deficit.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
He just already did pop his ult, maybe tried to run down Lyle and Boobly in their top jungle, but just kind of burns the ultimate just to get this scuttle. So at least ultimate's down. This might be a good opportunity. Teague gets called out, so that is a good flash. That is a really good arrow in response. There should be a free dead Teague. Sandy is even here too, so perfect 5v5. The enemy team is nowhere to be found to have any kind of response, so perfectly what we need to see.
Yeah, that was a really, really good pick. Looks like Baron's about to come up too.
Baron is spawning too, so this is the Baron potentially for the SOS, but Abarn has TP'd in alongside Hippogriff, so this is going to be a fight. 3k, 2k, 1k, this is going down, they get it, but look how much damage is coming through from Talon. They are all CC, they're all in a group. Ultimate there from Lalo will do so much, but he goes down. Senisek is just auling as much as he can. Abarn and Talon, though, are doing way too much damage. That is a double kill going over to Talon, and that is a almost ace. I mean, Greg's the last one alive. There's 2 carries there. What can he do? Is this the game?
You got this, Greg.
He's going to have to pull out the biggest play of his life. Does not hook onto IRIP, unfortunately. Goes onto IRIP, but really just goes into his death. Need to hook someone else, but honestly, not really much he could have done in that situation. This was essentially, assuredly, a Tasty Crab Legs win, and that will be Game 3. That is a 3-0 sweep. And TCL, we'll see you in the finals.
Wow. That was a series.
Yeah, I mean, it was that last game. I mean, they had the opportunity, they had the chance. We saw T go down before the Baron. They got the Baron, but I don't know if it was just too much CC, or they stacked too much. But, I mean, that's just really tough. That's just a really tough 3-0. I mean, we've seen 2 3-0s in the quarterfinals and the semifinals now. Just, setting up for a OTL TCL finals.
Yeah, I mean, wow. I really you have to give a lot of credit to SOS. Like, aside from obviously my team, I think there's seen as a lower level team as well. But I think they did pretty well in a lot of this series. There was some time, some points I was like, oh my god, wait, they're totally turning this around. So
yeah, they had their moments, right? I mean, I don't think they went quietly. This last game especially, I think they played pretty well. Lyle, I think, had the best opportunity to carry. They had really good catches from Ash. And of course, Sandy was very, very strong, but unfortunately, they just did not play as a team enough as they needed to against TCL, who was very cohesive, very together. And of course, that showed. Lucian 7-0-10. Abron was very, very strong, did 40k damage. And, it was just kind of a clean series all the way around. And with that being said, we gotta choose an MVP. So, Rioklu,
Oh my
who do
god,
you
I like
think
never do
was our
this.
series MVP?
Honestly, that is. I really do think like everyone in TCL played really well and had their shining moments, but I can't. I feel like for me, it's Teague. Like especially for 1 and 2 games 1 and 2, he just like had so much jungle pressure. It was kind of crazy.
And I think, honestly, I think T played well, right? I think
Yeah.
this last game would be the only game in which you would, not give
Yeah.
it to Teague.
Exactly.
Honestly, I think it was the bot lane of TCL. I mean, they were smashing. I mean, IREP had some really, really good Braum play. If you look at KDA, Talon, I think, died 2 or 3 times this game. I mean, the Jinx was clean. The Lucian was very, very clean. I think it's really easy to play jungle when all of your lanes are winning.
Fair.
So, honestly, for me, I give the Talon, personally.
Talent. Okay. I mean, he honestly he played a very clean game of AD carry. Like that dude was just dealing
I think
damage, farming.
Yeah, I mean, we can give our props to Teague, and I think if Teague had a good game 3, I think he could get it. But I think consistently, Talon just performed all 3 games.
All
So,
right.
speaking of Talon, welcome to the Caster's booth. Congratulations on your win. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. I mean, I definitely want to first off apologize for being a little late. Teague was letting me borrow his Ferrari, and he was putting it back in his garage after I dropped it off. So that was what the delay was from. But yeah, I'm feeling great,
Ah.
man.
Hey, no problem. We people need to make sure they store their Ferraris in the garage with all their knowledge. But hey, you guys had a super clean game here. I mean, there was some moments in which it looked like it was going to be close. Maybe there was going to come back game 3 from Sauce, but you guys kind of just had control of every game this series. What was kind of your expectation coming into it?
We were definitely expecting a 3-0. And we were feeling a little, hesitant towards the beginning of the series. T said he wanted to try out something new, and the Nunu isn't something really practiced very much, and he wanted to lock in the full AP Nunu. But we love him, and we trust him so much that we let him go for it, man. He really performed in that AP Nunu, and then the last game, he was like, man, I think we're gonna win no matter what. Let me get that first Master Yi win of TCL, and we're like, dude, go for it, man. It's just the amount of support that we have for this guy is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of predicted that and assumed that that was kind of a disrespect pick that, like, you guys were super confident we're going to get a win, so we can just lock, the Master Yi. So he does get the first Yi win. I don't know if it's really off of his back, but he does get the first Master Yi at the very least.
Team game. Team game, right?
Of course.
Team game. What questions do you have for our winning AD carry, Rioklu?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, how did you feel? Like just like in the ball lane. I feel like you two
Um,
play very confidently.
yeah, we both. I reps a real one for sure. I mean, I rep doesn't even need flash to beat these kids. So I mean, they were banning me out. I really wanted to play Lucian or Twitch this series because like kind of my 2 favorite champs, and they kept
Hmm.
banning me out. So I just picked Jinx, and didn't matter. Could play whatever. And we're still gonna win.
Yeah,
Well,
and go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was gonna say like, so you just 3-0'd this team. How do you feel about your game tomorrow against OTL?
Um, yeah. I think the first time we played them, I think we played. We played on the Thursday, then we played on the Sunday. So like,
Right.
none of us were really feeling it that well, and we were kind of all off our game. We've been scrimming them a little bit, and it's been pretty positive because we wanted to get some good scrim games, and we've been. I think we do have a positive win rate against them. So I think the finals tomorrow will definitely be probably. I mean, I think it's going to be a different outcome than we saw the last time we played them.
Okay. Good
Sure.
words.
Yeah. I mean, you've got the scrim box, right? I mean, you've got also the momentum coming in from your win today. So you never know. I mean, our team almost had that same momentum. We took them to game 5, and that was a very, very close game 5 from us. So who's to say you guys can? I think you all performed well. We'll have to see how maybe OTL crafts their game plan around what they've seen today. But with that being said, you got any final words, kind of as we close out the broadcast?
Yeah, I mean, thank you all for watching, and hopefully we close out this win tomorrow.
100%. Well, congratulations again. Go celebrate with your winning team, and we will see you tomorrow in the finals.
Thank you all for casting.
100%. All right, Rioklu. What a nice, quick series for us. We all get to go to bed early on this wonderful Sunday. Again, remember, TCL finals are tomorrow. So we'll see you here, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, to see who will be crowned Season 8 champion. Will it be Off the Leash, or will it be Tasty Crab Legs? Rioklu, what's your prediction?
Honestly, okay, this is really hard because, first of all, I like both teams, so no one say I'm biased. But okay, so TCL is like really good at playing just like front to back, classic, team fight style. But like Off the Leash is just insanely scrappy. Like they can lose early and mid, and they'll find ways to just like win the game. So I don't know. It's hard, but I mean, based on what I just saw today, I think OTL is going to win.
Okay. Sadly, for the first time, I will have to say this. I hope Abon wins, because I want my brother to lose. No one should be surprised.
Oh